Welcome in, folks, to Steve Coach Cady Arena here in Oxford, Ohio, as your Miami RedHawks host the Denver Pioneers. We got two games, one tonight and then one tomorrow. Notably for Denver, they're missing one of their best players, Zeev Buium, on defense, suspended in his last game's altercation. On the Miami side of things, coming in tonight, 23-2, not the season that they were hoping to have, but still got some young guys on the roster and are looking to have a big weekend here against the Denver Pioneers. Notably in NCHC conference play, the RedHawks are 0-18, so looking to get their first regulation win in conference on the season. Last weekend, some good things to build off of versus Colorado College. They came back from a 4-1 deficit and forced OT, however, could not get it done in overtime. But against a good Colorado College team, they really showed some fight. And maybe they can build off some of that momentum this weekend back at home. This is their second to last homestand here in Oxford as we finish the season in 2 weeks against Western Michigan on March 3rd and March 7th. Rather, March 7th and March 8th. But big test tonight. Denver Pioneers winning the national championship last year. 2 out of the last 3 seasons. Going to be a big test for the boys in white tonight. Earlier game tonight, kicking off at 5:30 Eastern here in Oxford. So the weather improves slightly. It's been awfully freezing here, just north of Cincinnati. But campus looks beautiful, and we are ready for some hockey. Speaking of those Denver Pioneers, coming into tonight, they are 21-8-1. 6th team in the nation in the standings. However, not too dominant in the NCHC as we've seen such a competitive conference, just a lot of amazing teams. They're 10-7-1 in conference. They've been steady recently, nothing too special. They split last weekend at home against North Dakota, and notably big news in the hockey world this year, earlier in the year, they had a game against UNLV, part of the ACHA, as people like to call them, and UNLV Rebels upset them. I know, good-looking man named Hayden Siegel scored in that game, so shout out to him, and just it really shows you how many talented hockey players there are coming up the ranks right now in America. You know, we might start having to expand college hockey soon. We might see teams like UNLV, maybe some southern schools get Division I teams. You know, as we saw Arizona State come here to Oxford and put the beating on our RedHawks recently, and they're a fairly new program. So nothing out of the ordinary. Hockey, the game is growing, the game we all love, and it's a special time to be alive. Speaking of that, we had the Four Nations face-off last night, Championship USA versus Canada. I mean, speaking on behalf of all hockey fans, I don't think we could have asked for anything more out of this weekend. Just the game we all love being played at the highest level possible with the best players in the world. You know, USA Hockey really showed what they were made of. As we see, you know, some of the next crop of talent in college hockey right now in Denver, Miami, you know, coming up the ranks. They see a game like that last night, and it just inspires them to try to make it to that stage. But obviously the NHL has announced more best-on-best scenarios will be held in the future. Obviously we got the Olympics in Milan where all the NHL players are permitted to play. And then NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman also announced that the Hockey World Cup, which we haven't seen since 2016, is returning every 4 years, meaning every 2 years we will have the opportunity to see best on best. I know everyone was jonesing for it after we saw what happened in 2016, especially, you know, with Team North America, and we got to just get a glimpse of these star players, but we never got to see a Connor McDavid, a Nathan McKinnon play for their teams in a best on best, same as Austin Matthews, Jack Hughes, Jack Eichel. I think it was just everything everyone was hoping for, and hockey couldn't be in a better place right now as we are set to see some exciting hockey here this weekend. Well, let's talk about the history between these two teams. Denver has a 35-13-4 all-time record versus the RedHawks, but in the last few years, absolutely dominant, unbeaten in their last 16 games versus Miami, going 15-0-1. They last met in Denver on January 10th and 11th, with Denver winning both games by a score of 4-1 and 6-2. We got about 24 minutes till puck drop here tonight as students start to trickle in. As I mentioned earlier, game tonight, tomorrow kicking off at 6 p.m. Eastern, so a half hour later. But should be in store for some good hockey. As the players are just warming up on the ice and starting to come off. But as I mentioned before, just a great atmosphere in Oxford, Ohio. Great school, beautiful campus. Glad to be hosting the Denver Pioneers, who, as I mentioned before, just kings of the college hockey world as of now. 2 national championships in the last 3 years. So the horn sounds, and we're getting ready to maybe clean the ice sheet here. We're going to step off and take a break. We'll be back here on the pregame on Red Hawk Radio. Welcome back to Red Hawk pregame on Red Hawk Radio. We got about 20 minutes till puck drop. In the meantime, let's take a look at college hockey around the country and see what we got in store for tonight and this weekend. Starting in the Hockey East, Northeastern travels to Boston to take on the BU Terriers, the 7th-ranked team in the nation, looking to build off their momentum. Obviously, just a few weeks ago, they had that stellar Beanpot victory against the Boston College Eagles. A lot of star power in that game. A lot of players that played in that USA World Junior game that brought home gold for the second year in a row for the Americans. Just reiterating my point about the young talent coming up the crops in USA Hockey. It's exciting times. Then Massachusetts and New Hampshire face off in New Hampshire. That's a top 20 matchup as well. And then a big tilt between Maine and Connecticut happening at UConn. And then Boston College, mentioned them a little bit before, travel to Vermont to take on the 24th-ranked team, Vermont. Hockey East is absolutely loaded this year. Speaking of loaded, the NCHC, where your Miami RedHawks play, I mean, they have absolutely the hardest competition in college hockey. Facing off against Denver tonight and tomorrow. Western Michigan and Arizona State face off in Arizona State. We saw what that ASU team was capable of, putting up 13 combined goals against the RedHawks here in Oxford just a few games ago. Minnesota Duluth travels to North Dakota to take on the team that split with Denver last weekend. And lastly, Colorado College will travel to St. Cloud State to take on them in the state of hockey. In the Big Ten, Penn State travels to Michigan State. East Lansing, man, have Michigan State been impressive this year. The #1 ranked team in the country, led by guys like Isaac Howard, just shut down, and obviously Trey Augustine and net. That Spartan team is destined for some big things come April. Ohio State, surprise team this year, ranked 7th in the country, travels to Minnesota to take on the Gophers, led by Jimmy Snuggerud. No doubt we'll see him in a Blues uniform by the end of the season. And lastly, Notre Dame travels to Madison to take on the Badgers. A lot of good hockey in store tonight and tomorrow. Exciting time for Division I hockey. So much talent. As I mentioned before, could probably field another 5-6 teams, and they would be competitive. Just exciting times for the sport of hockey in general. Let's look at some players to watch for tonight's game. On the RedHawks side, starting with Colby Ambrosio, the 22-year-old from Welland, Ontario, was drafted in the 4th round of the 2020 draft by the Avalanche. Spent each of his last 4 seasons with the aforementioned Boston College Eagles before transferring to the RedHawks. He brings a lot of experience, tallying 17 points in 28 games this year. An absolute workhorse, gets in hard on the forecheck, and just one of the leaders coming in with a lot of college hockey experience for the RedHawks. We also see number 17, Johnny Waldron, the 22-year-old from Batavia, Illinois, has tallied 16 points in 22 games in his 3rd season with the RedHawks. An absolute silky player, Johnny Waldron is. Has great hockey IQ, can set up guys left and right. A guy to definitely look out for tonight if the RedHawks can manage to get a few power plays. He is dangerous with the puck and definitely can make some plays. Lastly, the RedHawks got number 9, Matt Kupani, 23-year-old from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, has 14 points in 28 games this season. Similar to Ambrosio, he transferred after spending the last 3 seasons at Northeastern. Both those guys bring a lot of veteran leadership to the team, and they are the heartbeat of the RedHawks. In order for the RedHawks to be successful tonight, those guys started off with their hard forecheck, getting in, crashing the net, laying guys out, and really just getting this crowd into it tonight against a good Denver hockey team. Speaking of those Pioneers, just loaded with talent, especially those top 6 forwards are all essentially over a point per game. And leading it off at the top, number 4, Jack Devine, the 21-year-old from Glencoe, Illinois, is a 7th-round pick in 2022 by the Panthers. He is 5th in all of college hockey in points with 41 in 30 games and 4th in college hockey in points per game. Someone to look out for. Just dangerous with the puck, great at protecting it, has high hockey IQ, and is a sneaky player in that offensive zone. Grew up playing hockey AAA in the suburbs of Chicago, then moved on to the National Development Program, where he's found his way to the Pioneers and has won 2 national championships now. Someone to look out for sure. Then you got number 7, Aiden Thompson, the 23-year-old from Fort Collins, Colorado. Is a 3rd-round pick in 2022 by the Blackhawks. And has tallied 37 points in 30 games this season. Thompson, along with Devine, just the engine that gets this motor running for the Pioneers team. He gets in real hard on the forecheck, flies around there, makes play. Just the absolute heartbeat for this Denver Pioneers team. And lastly, number 12, Sam Harris, the 21-year-old from San Diego, California, is a 2023 5th-round pick by the Canadiens. And he has 29 points in 29 games, as we see on the ice. Matt Kupani, as the horn goes off right in the middle of my speech. The infamous skate with the youngster, buried in the net. Horn goes off, lights trickle down, crowd goes crazy. Player of the week is Eddie Linville, age 8 in 3rd grade. His favorite player is Austin Matthews. You just gotta love giving back to the community and building the next generation of hockey. USA Hockey could not be in a better spot right now. And then back to Denver, as I mentioned before, Zeev Buyam, we will not see tonight. We will see tomorrow. He's serving a 1-game suspension for his altercation last week against North Dakota. 12th overall pick a year ago by the Wild, has 33 points in 28 games this year. Only 19 years old. Big miss for the Denver Pioneers tonight. They're going to have to really lean on some of their other top defensemen, Eric Polkamp, Kent Anderson, to pull the weight, because Zeev Buyam, just a special player. Obviously, we've seen his success with the Pioneers last season, winning the national championship. And then the last 2 years for Team USA in the World Juniors. The guy just knows how to win. Excellent hockey IQ. No doubt we will see him in Minnesota playing for the Wild in the near future. But as I mentioned before, just loaded with talent. This next crop of USA Hockey players are. It's an exciting time. So we've got about 11 minutes till puck drop. More students are starting to trickle in. The ice is clean. We're excited for some hockey tonight. We're going to step out one last time. When we get back, we'll give you the lines, some things to look out for the game tonight here on the pregame on Red Hawk Radio. Welcome back into Red Hawk Radio here on the pregame. Got about 8 minutes left until puck drop here in Oxford. Before then, let's take a look at the college hockey rankings. As I mentioned previously, so much talent coming through the ranks right now, so many good teams. Michigan State holding the top spot at number 1, Boston College at number 2, Western Michigan 3, Maine 4, and Minnesota 5, with Denver being your 6th team in the nation. Obviously, Western Michigan, our last homestand here, having to play the number 6 and number 3 team in the country to round out our home season here in Oxford. Big test for the boys, looking to build on a lot of momentum. Hopefully, if we can get some wins here at the end of the season, good things to build on for next season. Get some recruits, improve on their record. In order for Miami to be successful tonight, it all starts with setting the tone in the game, getting the crowd into it, being hard on the forecheck. They got to play harder than Denver. They got to take advantage of a no Zeev Buyum, crash the net, get guys to the net, and limit Denver's top players. Really got to keep an eye on Aiden Thompson, Jack Devine. Got to stay out of the box because Denver will just absolutely be lethal on the power play as both teams take the ice here. We're about 6 minutes out. Let's give you the lines for tonight. For the away team, Denver Pioneers, first line, Carter King, Aiden Thompson, and Jack Devine. All the firepower up front. Miami's going to have to limit that. Second line of Sam Harris, Samu Salmonen, and James Reeder. Rieger Lawrence, Kieran Cabrian, and Jared Wright round out the third line, and the fourth line of Jake Fisher, Connor Capone, and Hagen Burrows. On defense, Eric Polkamp, Kent Anderson, Boston Buckberger, Garrett Brown, Cale Ashcroft, Torrey Pinter, and Alec Whipple. In goalie for the Pioneers, number 35, Matt Davis from Calgary, Alberta, standing at 6'1", is 26-1 this season with a 2.13 goals against average and a .920 save percentage with 1 shutout on the season. Miami is going to have to test him tonight. Your home Miami RedHawks, first line centered by Johnny Waldron with Teeter Forsander and Colby Ambrosio on the wings. Second line, John Edmonds, Casper Nason, and Rymans Vitalins. Third line of Christoph Villion, Braden Morrison, and Matt Trupani. And rounding out the fourth line, centered by Blake Messenberg, Frankie Cargioello, and Ryan Sullivan on the wings. On defense, Dylan Moulton, Richards Semenovics, Michael Feenstra, Michael Quinn, Spencer Cox, Hampus Reichquist, and Connor Hutchinson. And in goal for the RedHawks, number 35, Ethan Dahlmeyer from Lakeville, Minnesota. Has started 11 games this season, going 1-8-1 with a 3.94 goals against average and an .873 save percentage. Big test for the RedHawks tonight. One of the best teams in the nation in Denver. A lot of star power. Should be a fun one here in Oxford as we are just about 4 minutes till game time. We are going to step away. We got Luke West-Poley and Jeff Middleton on the call tonight. I hope you guys enjoy, and I will be back here. The first intermission report. Enjoy the game, everyone.
From Steve, Coach Cady Arena in Oxford, Ohio, the Miami RedHawks return home from the road trip and will take on the defending national champions here this weekend. Miami, oh so close to that first conference win of the season last Saturday. They'll try to get it against the nation's sixth best team in the Denver Pioneers, who enter the weekend off a split against North Dakota. Poley, Jeff Middleton on hand with you as you're about to get the puck dropped between Miami and Denver. And as mentioned, Jeff, pretty good performance put together by Miami on Saturday night. Rallied from 4-1 down in the third, went up 5-4 with 17 seconds left over Colorado College. Goal got called back for goalie interference. Miami falls in overtime, but pieces are starting to come together finally for this team, it feels like, and hoping they can steal a game at some point here down the stretch.
Yeah, and they're getting contributions from everyone around the lineup. I mean, we were talking off air about Dylan Moulton and his goal-scoring abilities. Recently, he has been on fire and looking to continue that tonight against obviously really talented Denver team coming into Oxford for the first time in a while.
Denver is in the road red uniforms with the gold Denver text and numbers on the front and back. Miami is in the white uniforms with the red gloves and pants. Red Miami M on the front, red numbers on the back. Trevor Wolford, Andy Thackaberry are the referees. Eric Frank is back in the house working the lines tonight.
Fan favorite.
Along with Brian Gorkoff. Puck is dropped. Denver takes it left to right, and we are underway here from Oxford. Pioneer lineup 6th in the nation, 10-7 though in the NCH scene. Immediately a drive from the left side by Eric Polkamp, turned aside by Ethan Dahlmeyer. Pio's national champions last year. They've got the puck in the offensive zone, but they are going to be without one of their key playmakers tonight in Z. Booyam, as Miami will skate it out to center, and Matt Shapani will flutter it into the offensive zone. Booyam got into a fight on Saturday night against North Dakota and is serving a one-game suspension. It was a big shock that he was even coming back to college hockey this year, and one of the nation's best players not playing here on Friday night. We'll almost assuredly see him in the lineup tomorrow. RedHawks get it into the offensive zone. Theodore Forsander going to work on the forecheck and does steal it away from Miami. Up to the left point, Mike Feenstra fumbles with it but does hold the zone as he will play it in deep. It's Forsander once again in front of the Zamboni doors in the far corner. Denver will steal it away and poke it up the near side and now space up the right wing of the ice. It is left off by Rieger Lorenz at the right point for a shot by Garrett Brown. It's poked, though, up into the protective netting, and we get a stoppage with 18:53 to go in the first. Starting goaltenders tonight for Denver, it is Matt Davis, semifinalist for the Mike Richter Award. 2.13 goals against average, .920 save percentage, and a shutout, with a 26-1 record for the 6'1", 195 senior from Calgary, Alberta, who is a right-handed catcher, something that is very rare to see. Miami goes with Ethan Dahlmeyer, the freshman from Lakeville, Minnesota, 6'3", 221 pounds, making his 12th career start, 13th appearance overall, 3.94 goals against average, and an .873 save percentage. Face-off controlled by the RedHawks in the defensive zone. They'll work it up the far boards and lift it back out to neutral ice. Pios take it there and down the far side. A quick feed ahead for James Reeder. Trying to touch it through the middle of the ice. Salmonen couldn't track it down, but Denver will shove it in deep where the Pioneers will get it back and now ring it around to the near point. Slapped close to the net by Ashcroft. Ended up getting tipped wide. There was a hit behind the net applied by Connor Hutchison, and the RedHawks do take away and clear it back out as Miami goes for a change, approaching the 2-minute mark of the opening period. Sidestepping into the offensive zone and spinning in the far corner, Sam Harris surveying, climbing up the wall and wrapping it back in deep. Behind the Miami cage, it is touched back to the far corner where Connor Capone runs into it for the Pioneers. And again, the puck rolling along the dasher and ends up back in deep in the Miami zone, where a big hit is laid as the RedHawks could not get it out and Blake Messenberg could not clear. Still in the corner now, it's Moulton with it for the RedHawks, who will bank it up the far wall to Casper Nassin, losing possession immediately, but getting off the ice, and the RedHawks do get the change as the Pios dump it back in. RedHawks break out quickly. Frankie Carajoyello will chip it into the offensive zone. Miami out and running as it's poked into the far corner. Ryan Sullivan lays a hit. Puck comes up to the right point. Feenstra had his stick lifted, and the puck will squirt back out to the neutral zone where the RedHawks fire it back in. John Emmons on the far half wall. Wraps it near side. Simonovic's pinching down. Space in the corner. Side steps. Around the net he goes. Still with it. On the far side, Simonovic spins in the corner, tried to tuck it in front, but he fanned on the feed, looking for Sullivan between the hashes, and Denver will take it the other way, 2-on-2. Thompson leaves it off for Carter King. Thompson once again up to the left point. A shot up in the air, hit the head of a Pioneer in front. As that looked like Carter King got that in the mask. RedHawks cleared it out. Another try from the right point went wide by Brown. And with the puck up to the left point, it was Boston Buckberger that could not hold the zone, and it's out for offside. 16:44 to go first period, and no score. Neutral zone draw coming up on the far side.
You see Miami getting engaged early on the physical side of things. Like, I mean, you're not going to outskill this Denver team. Lots of drafted players and just lots of players that have had success at the college hockey level, and even if they're not going to go straight to the NHL. But Miami's, especially their bottom two lines, really getting engaged physically and trying to win battles all along the walls on the forecheck.
13 draft picks in total on this Pioneer roster. They'll take it into the offensive zone, and Jack Devine will throw one in from the near wall that's sticked aside by Ethan Dahlmeyer. Pioneers still with it, and at the left point, it's Buckberger, leaving it for Thompson. Working on 99 career points, he circles and feeds it to the near wing where Carter King will move to his backhand. Trying to protect the puck from Quinn, who does well to poke it off him. And the RedHawks can skate it just out of the zone. Cargiello's pass across the ice got tipped up in the air. Morrison will come down with it, and Miami will regroup. Both teams finishing up a change as a feed through the center of the ice got intercepted by Rieger Lorenz, but Chapani picks his pocket and will dump it in. Davis out of his net, pushing the puck to the far side of the ice, back in the neutral zone. Colby Ambrosio laid the puck out for a moment, and Denver bangs it partway into the Miami zone. RedHawks with it now, skating down the left wing. Johnny Waldron will bank it across the offensive blue line. Ambrosio tried to shove it further in deep, but could not do so. Cox instead takes it at the right point and gives a cross-corner dump. Back up to the near wall. Waldron dancing his way through the middle. He left it on the left point looking for Cox, but he was skating towards the middle of the ice, and it came out of the zone. RedHawks dump it back in, and will go for a change. Denver, though, turns it over, and now it's Vitalin's leaving for Waldron, top of the left circle, across the ice. He was looking for Ambrosio, and that pass got picked off. Still alive, though, for the RedHawks, and it's Vitalin's alone in the far corner. Skating through the middle, sauces one through. Waldron tracks it and fires wide of the right post as it banks off the corner and heads out.
We're going to have a penalty here.
There is a penalty, and Ethan Dahlmeyer's coming off, so the RedHawks will try to possess, and they'll have the game's first power play. And good work, though, by James Reeder against Johnny Waldron to lift his stick and touch up. And so the Pioneers will go to the kill. And it will be Samu Salminen that's going to sit for two. And it's a minor penalty for hooking, and so that will send Miami to the power play. Got a 5-on-3 goal last weekend. That was their first power play goal in about a month. Their last power play goals before that actually came against Denver when they scored 2 against the Pioneers in the series out west. So 14:56 to go, first period, and Miami will go to the power play for the first time. As mentioned, the RedHawks have struggled, just 16% on the year. Michael Quinn, though, walks right to the high slot and risks one through traffic that Davis makes the stop on. Pretty conservative kill for this Pioneers team. RedHawks go across the ice, and Nasson gets robbed with the right glove of Matt Davis. Nasson had 2 feet on the left faceoff dot, and Nasson went post to post, rather Davis went post to post and robbed him with the glove.
And we talked about it literally just a little bit ago about this right-handed catching goalie, and the NCHC, you see Matt Davis have the right-handed catching glove, as well as Simon Latkozy, another NCHC goaltender with the Omaha Mavericks. But man, it's just a little bit offsetting when most goalies are gonna catch left-handed, but when you're Casper Nasson, you know where you're aiming for on that side because usually it's a blocker. But Matt Davis with a robbery.
Yeah, that's, I'd say, a goal probably twice as often against a left-handed catcher there.
Yeah, they have that. I mean, they have Nasson over there for a reason. That one-timer is threatening for sure.
RedHawks win the face-off. Michael Quinn risks one through that gets tipped up into the netting by Colby Ambrosio. 14:33 to go, first period, no score. 1:38 left on the penalty. A little surprised that's still a lot of time for Miami.
Yeah.
He's had some good chances on this power play so far. Denver sits middle of the road, 4th in the NCHC in terms of the kill at 82.1%. Face off on the near side of the ice. And Morrison gets tossed from the dot, so Colby Ambrosio will come in to take the faceoff. These teams additionally sit on opposite ends of the NCHC in terms of faceoff winning percentage, but the RedHawks do control and will work it to the left circle. Nasson sauces it left corner for Ambrosio. Back up top, Michael Quinn to the left circle for Nasson. Being hotly pursued, tries to throw it down to the corner. That pass got picked off, and Denver will clear it down the ice for the first time in the power play.
You know, that's just three huge face-off wins, 2 by Braden Morrison and 1 by Colby Ambrosio. It just goes to show how important those offensive zone draws are just for getting set up.
Faceoffs are even at 3 aside. Like you said, RedHawks have the advantage in the offensive zone. Back into the zone now. It is Cox walking down the wall. Sauces at center point, Moulton. Near side, Vitalins. Waiting. Back up to the center point, Moulton. Far circle one-timer from Cox got blocked. Can see Eric Polkamp shaking out his right hand as he might have got a piece of that puck. Moulton now drags and shoots. Save made. Davis doesn't see it. Rebound tucked on. And that's now cleared away. A second wrister by Moulton's blocked, and now maybe a breakaway chance coming the other direction. It's Capone trying to walk in, and Moulton pokes the puck off his stick and forces him to the wall. Wow,
what a sequence of chances.
Yeah. Both teams with a couple of scoring chances. Miami gets it back into the offensive zone with 20 seconds to go on the power play, but Denver will take the dump in, and it is cleared across the ice by Kieran Sabrian, the Denver native, as time winds down. Hutchison down the right wing, enters the zone with 8 left on the power play, wrists one into the breadbasket of Davis. He didn't see a couple of those shots previously. He saw that one good, and he'll gobble it up and hold. 13:02 to go first period, 7 seconds left on the penalty to Salmonen, and we are scoreless.
And obviously when you get a power play this early in the game, you want to take advantage, you want to put that puck in the back of the net, but at the same time, generating momentum, finding your rhythm offensively is just as important as putting the puck in the net at this stage of the game, especially against a team like Denver. So great power play there from the RedHawks, hoping to build off that here.
RedHawks win the draw. Schipani acted like he was going to go into the corner. Instead, he gives it up to the right point where Quinn's shot got deflected wide, and a dump down the ice looking for Salmonen out of the box was just out of his reach as the Pioneers cleared it, and it will go down for icing. And it was announced media timeout over the PA, and both teams are headed over to their benches. You cannot have a media timeout on icing, so the teams will have to reset for this draw. Miami forwards huddled up between the hashes conversing, and now they will set up for the draw. It's Morrison on his strong side on the left wing in the offensive zone. Brian Gorkoff will
he's going to toss
issue
Morrison.
A couple warnings. Yeah, now he's going to toss Morrison out of the face-off circle, and Schipani will take the draw instead. And so now the puck is dropped, and looked like Schipani pushed it where he wanted it, but the Pioneers get to it first on the wing. It's skated out to neutral ice by Salmonen, and the Pioneers can dump it the rest of the way into the offensive zone as they will go for a partial change. Guys, though, that remain out on the ice for Denver going to work in the offensive zone. Up to the center point, a drive through traffic, got blocked in front from Buckberger. Rebound hung there for a moment in the right circle, but it was cleared out of harm's way by Miami. Denver still with it. Devine across the ice to the right circle for Brown. And now once again it's Devine walking, throws it towards the back door. It was between the legs of Thompson, who had 2 feet planted on the left post. Pioneers still with it. Devine lays it behind him for Buckberger. Back up left point, Brown. Now Buckberger rounds it deep into the offensive zone. From the wall, a shot sent through that gets blocked off the stick of Thompson. Pioneers still with it. Devine with a one-timer. That got blocked by a sprawling Morrison. Sharp angle shot thrown on by Brown. That got blocked away. Looked like a RedHawk might have hit that with the hand, but it gets out of the zone. Denver will grab it and head right back into the offensive end.
RedHawks almost had too many men on the ice there.
Thompson threw it to the far circle where a one-timer was sent on by Salmonen. Save made by Dahlmeyer. He's got 5 in the game so far. RedHawks still pinned back in their own end, and finally John Emmons digs it free off the wall, but he turns it over. RedHawks, though, fortunately have reinforcements back, and they'll steal it away and dump it out at least to neutral ice. Denver will dump it back in. Dahlmeyer had trouble with it in his skates for a moment, and now the RedHawks will rim it all the way around the far boards, and this will go down for icing. And Miami's got some guys who've been out there for a little while. RedHawks did get a partial change in. They could never really get the puck over the red line.
Yeah.
Anytime they got it out, it was between the blue and the red, but they were able to get at least a couple guys off the ice. So it's really just John Emmons in that forward group that has hung around out there. That's been out for so
as
long.
well. But yeah, no, I mean, Christoph Filion, he was right in the mid, almost towards the middle of the point area, and then realized that there were too many men. And I mean, I think the Denver bench was yelling about it, and I don't blame them at all. It was pretty blatant, but fortunately realized and didn't play the puck or anything like that.
RedHawks did win the draw, and Shapani skated it across the center red and dumped in. Miami finishes their change, and now the puck log jammed along the near boards. RedHawks come out with it, group it back in their own zone briefly. Vitalin's through the middle of the ice, looking for Waldron, who fumbled with a one-time pass attempt. Pioneers with it back. Polkamp trying to thread a pass through traffic. Feenstra kicks it back to the red line, where it's wrapped back in by the Pioneers. Dahlmeyer gave it away right in front of his own net, and they score.
Wow.
Dahlmeyer was trying to clear it out of the zone himself, and he gave it right to Jake Fisher on the doorstep, who walked all the way around him and put it in the back of the net. And with 10:22 to go in the first, a relatively even game to date has shifted in the Pioneers' favor. It's 1-0.
Yeah, and even the play before, Dahlmeyer looked a little shaky playing the puck behind his own net, and there he just takes a little too long to make a decision and throws it right in front. And a great move by Jake Fisher to get on the board and kind of just wait patiently for Dahlmeyer to sprawl out. And Dahlmeyer, a big goaltender, so he had to wait a little bit longer than probably anticipated. Nonetheless, Pioneers up 1-0 now.
So an unassisted goal by Fisher at 9:38 of the first has Denver up 1-0. And they'll now push it into the offensive zone, where the RedHawks will pick it up. Messenberg catches the pass in neutral ice, skates it across the center red, all alone with 4 red jerseys around him, and he will give it away as Miami was going for a change. Shifting their gaze forward, it's Sebrin that throws it into the offensive zone for the Pios. Sebrin will steal it back on the forecheck, twists it up left point, two-hand chop deep into the zone by Buckberger. Feenstra behind the goal line for Miami. Lays it for Colby Ambrosio, gave it away below the goal line, sent to the backside, and a poke check applied there by Theodore Forsander. Got that away from a couple of Pioneers waiting on the backside of the ice for a potential wide open net, and another near turnover by the RedHawks in front of their own goal, this time by Hutchison. Instead, it just glances off the stick of Rieger Lorenz, and Miami will dump it into the offensive zone. Hutchison left point, shot it into his own man, and now Carter King off to the races. Quinn, though, hustling back, and will at least force King behind the net. Now he'll throw it in front, and a swing and a miss as Devine fanned on the one-time shot, and Miami will push it to center. 8:40 to go first period, 1-0 Denver on the Jake Fisher goal. It is the freshman's 6th goal of his career. And the Pioneers up 1-0. Center point fan from Carter King, who wasn't really pressured there, just took a one-time attempt off his back foot, missed it, and it came back out to center ice. Now the RedHawks with it. Emmons flutters it across for Spencer Cox. He will softly tap it into the offensive zone. Raymond's Vitalins pushing on the forecheck. RedHawks have reinforcements there as well as Vitalins takes a spill. RedHawks were looking for a penalty, did not get one, as Casper Nassen still giving Denver fits a little bit as they can't get it out of their offensive zone, but now the Pioneers will, as Jack Devine will skate it backwards into the Pioneer D zone. Denver tries to work it up the far side of the ice, and that puck did take a touch, so icing waved off. And the RedHawks control. Nassen taps a 5-foot pass to Messenberg, who touches it forward, but drilled right back Miami's way. Simonovic spins it up the far wall. Now the RedHawk captain, Ryan Sullivan, will laser it into the offensive zone. It knocks off the near corner glass. Denver tracks it down, cleared down the ice by Pittner. He took a big hit in the process. Puck is tipped, so no icing, and the RedHawks will race out of their own zone with it. Messenberg slows his step as he crosses the center red, and he'll lob it into the offensive zone. Sullivan on the far wall. He almost gave it away, and Denver had a man stretching there. That was Capone behind all the RedHawks, but Miami did not turn it over. Instead, the RedHawks will dump in. Denver Denver sends it back Miami's way. It is Simonovic up the near wall, tapped into the offensive zone by Forsander with under 7 minutes to go in the first period. Still haven't reached the first immediate timeout of the game yet. Brown walks it down the right side for Denver, enters the offensive zone, swipes it to his man. It's left in the high slot for Capone. But good stick work from Theodore Forsander defending him. Will poke it back out to center ice. Bios dump it back in. Forsander will spin it up the near wall for Waldron. Stepping across the center red. He'll fire into the offensive zone. Denver, though, breaks it out with speed. And now down the left wing. A drop pass gone wrong as it went through the legs of Capone. Waldron throws it across, and now Moulton has a lane. He fires just wide of the right post as Moulton was in kind of a 1-on-2 there, but had a little bit of a step and just fired it wide right. Seen that a couple times already, Jeff. RedHawks are definitely aiming for that blocker side out on the right post. Miami's just missed it a couple of times now. Up the right wall goes Hagen Burrows across the ice for Rieger Lorenz, who tried to throw it in front, but that was pushed back to the far wall. A couple players tangled up below the Miami goal line as the puck squirts back out to center. 5:42 to go first period. It's 1-0 Pioneers. Cox backhand shovels it along the far wall. RedHawks get it out of their own zone. Now Casper Nasson pressuring up ahead. He lifts the stick of Kent Anderson, but cannot take away as Polkamp will grab it and move it all the way into the offensive zone. Pass, though, across the zone was cut off, and the RedHawks do take it away. There was a couple of collisions up high in the zone, and Nasson went down. It's a big body, but the RedHawks take it the other way. Emmons swirls it deep in the offensive zone for the RedHawks. Nasson protecting with his body, shoves it in deep. It got by Vitalins, but a good hit applied by Emmons to take control of the puck. He is pinched off, though, and now Jack Devine will skate it diagonally through center. Devine with speed around Reichquist to the far corner, throws it in front. Got past a couple of players there, one for each team, and it's taken on the near wall by Emmons, who will slap it forward. Thompson now with it for Denver. Weaves through the traffic. Thompson tried to chip it towards the far side, and Reichquist jostled him off the puck. RedHawks now will skate it in front of their own net, a little bit dangerously for Simonovic, but Miami does not turn it over. And a long pass through center that Sullivan takes two swats at, and with the second try will get into the offensive zone. Denver tries to wrap it up the far wall. Michael Quinn, though, seals it, and now it's Messenberg who sends it in deep for the RedHawks. In the high slot, Messenberg chops at it, and out of the air, the puck is whacked to the near wall. Still in the offensive zone as Caragiello got locked up by Devine, and now Denver with a long feed ahead. And offside. What have we here? It is offside, and Denver made a long pass trying to stretch the ice up the far side. We'll see if this faceoff is deeper than the typical offside. It looks like it's going to come all the way into the Pioneer zone potentially. But we'll let you know when we come back. First media time out of the game, 1-0 Pioneers off the 6th goal of the year from Jake Fisher. And with 4:02 to go in the first, Denver's got the lead on the road. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. 4:02 remaining, first period. Denver won, Miami nothing after the goal by Jake Fisher. Mistake in net for Miami's Ethan Dahlmeyer, who was coming out to play the puck and just threw it on the ice right to Fisher's stick, who walked around him and scored. RedHawks have played a pretty good first 15 minutes here, but that just one mistake by their goaltenders got them behind. Denver, though, will quickly take it off the draw, and a backhand up the ice from Sam Harris in the right circle is saved with the shoulder by Dahlmeyer, and he will hang on. That was a defensive zone faceoff for the Pioneers that took it to the offensive zone in a flash. And just like that, we've got another media timeout on the ice. So about 5 seconds of game time in between the couple of timeouts. 9 seconds, actually, to be exact. And that will bring us to another break. Still 1-0 Pios, 3:53 to go in the first. It's Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. .353 remaining, first Miami nothing here from a Cady Arena that's become increasingly filled out. Early 5:30 start. That's because basketball across town got flexed to Friday night on CBS Sports Network. First nationally televised game at Millett Hall in 4 years as the RedHawks take on the Kent State Golden Flashes. And of course, we'll have that game for you on Red Hawk Radio. Brian Miller and the crew will be with you right at 8, which should be around when this game ends. So
hopefully
when we're done,
least.
yes, hopefully. Shoot on over. It'll still be in the same spot here on Red Hawk Radio. Check out that stream, and
excited.
Crew will bring you, a very, very big Miami
It's gonna be
men's
packed.
basketball home game. Yeah, I saw was headed around town earlier today, and they were advertising overflow parking, which is always a good sign.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's great. Always love to see a packed Millett Hall.
Yes.
Nothing like it. Nothing else like it.
RedHawks win the defensive zone faceoff and will clear it down the far side of the ice. It will not be icing as the Pioneers got a touch on it. And so Garrett Brown will get around the hounding of Colby Ambrosio and get it up the ice. Denver at a 3-on-0
Great
in
save.
front of the net. Somehow, as the RedHawks just stopped moving their feet, and Harris got 2 pushes on the right pad of Dahlmeyer, who stood him up. RedHawks now working into the offensive zone, and it's Waldron back into the lineup for Miami last weekend after missing nearly a month. Up to the point and push back in deep. Pioneers will take it and break out through center. It goes, and Buckberger will wait for reinforcements to arrive. Now has it back with a one-timer for the center point, blocked by Vitalins, who goes down to his knees after that one. Denver still with it, as it's walked around the net by Sebrian, all the way up to the left point where he hits the brakes. Cross-ice pass for Anderson, wrists one through traffic that got tipped wide. Dahlmeyer might have had a piece of that one. And the RedHawks will get to the loose puck, and Johnny Waldron will just throw it down the ice. Denver, though, had a straggler changing that got to it, and so it will not be icing. Pios got it into the offensive zone, and now it comes right back out. Denver back in down the right wing. Jared Wright tried to throw it to the net front. That was denied. Now up to the right point, it's Ken Anderson. Cross the
Great
ice
save.
for a one-timer that got tipped through traffic by Bolkamp. And a save by Dahlmeyer as the RedHawks loft it back to the offensive zone. Sullivan working on the forecheck. Denver banks it up the near wall, and now a 2-on-2 for the Pioneers as Lorenz gets by. Lorenz gets torn down, and that'll bring a penalty as he tried to shoot that one. He just got smothered by Mike Feenstra, who will sit 2 minutes for holding as the RedHawks touch up.
Yeah, not a great pinch from Hampus Rydquist there. Tried to make a play, but had the puck poked around him and was just kind of out to lunch. And then Mike Feenstra, good defense, but you know, he had to prevent him from getting a 2-on-1, so you had to do what you have to do. It's not the worst penalty in the world. Good back check from John Emmons to make sure that 2-on-1 didn't turn into a 2-on-0. Nonetheless, Miami heads to the penalty kill here with a minute 54 remaining.
Playing with fire in the NCHC's top power play in Denver, who will get their first crack with a minute 54 to go in the first. So Feenstra 2 minutes for holding. Denver 1 for 1 on the kill. This is their first chance on the power play tonight with Miami's first penalty. Center pointed as Polkamp, the Bemidji State transfer, wrists one on net right into the center M on Dahlmeier's chest, who holds on. Polkamp, one of just 2 transfers on this team for Denver. When you got the culture in the spot that David Carl has it, there's not typically a lot of transfer portal exodus, and thus you don't really need to bring that much in via the portal. So this Denver team never really has many transfers.
Never a bad thing to play for a head coach this one as much as David Carl has.
Certainly not. One-timer off the draw from the top of the right circle from Thompson, ended up high in the net. Puck below the goal line now, and Dylan Moulton had it for a second but didn't have the leverage to clear as he was locked up. So instead he'll just pin it against the wall and kill more time. Now the Pioneers will get it up to the point, and it's Devine from the left side. Devine walks down the wall and will hand it all the way around to the near half wall for Aiden Thompson. Tried to throw that towards the high slot, but the Redhawks spun that back out to center ice. And now Devine will come off a little mini screen set for him by Thompson on the right side to get it back into the zone. Redhawks try to clear unsuccessfully. In the far corner, it's Devine. To the near side, Thompson waits, shoots, and that trickled through the right side of Ethan Dahlmeier. He got a piece maybe with the blocker, but made the save. Now, quickly reversing ice back to the near wing. Thompson threw it back door. Redhawks had sticks there to tip it up into the netting with 40.4 seconds to go in the first.
Not a bad kill from the Redhawks here. Would like to see some more clears, obviously, but man, these Pioneers, whenever they lose the puck, they are quick to get it back, and that's just one of the many little things that they're good at. It's why they're ranked so high. It's why they win national championships. Not only are they extremely talented, but they fight for the puck whenever it's loose, and they end up getting the pucks first, especially on the power play with the man advantage.
So Denver wins the face-off, and up to the left point, room to skate down. Now Fisher will hit the brakes and throw it back up top. Fisher, the goal scorer, has it once again. Spun around to the near side of the ice. Pioneers get it to the back door and score. That hit all 5 sticks on the ice within a 2-second span. And James Reeder, the freshman on the back door, taps it in for his 8th of the year. The second goal by a freshman in this first period for the Pioneers. And with 22.7 seconds to go, they lead it 2-0.
It's interesting. 2 weekends in a row that Miami has struggled to keep freshmen off the board in the Friday game. Last weekend against Colorado College, 3 different freshmen had goals for the Tigers in a 6-1 victory against the Redhawks. But another great play, like you mentioned, Luke. Every single player on the ice touched that puck within a very, very short span, 2 to 5 seconds at least. Just impressive puck movement, and it's exactly what we were talking about here, how talented this Denver team is.
So it's Reeder from Salmonen and Buckberger at 19:38, and Denver doubles their lead right before the break. Redhawks get a shot in from the right point right as the period's about to expire. That gets blocked in front. But after a pretty strong 15 minutes that Miami played to start the game, Ethan Dahlmeier made a mistake in net. That got him down 1. And then the Redhawks dipped their hand in the penalty kill pot and got bit for it as the Pioneers scored on the power play for Denver, their 33rd power play goal of the season as a team, and the 8th goal of the season for James Reeder has them in front 2-0. And or the same for this Miami team. Effort was pretty good coming out of the locker room to begin the game, which you like to see, which you need to have against a team like this in Denver, but you pretty much make 2 mistakes that period and they're both in your net.
Yeah, exactly, and it's tough. I mean, once again, it's an effort that I would be proud of if I'm them. I mean, you're playing the number 6 ranked team, and you get a power play early. Obviously, you want to score on that, get momentum more in your favor. It obviously makes the scoreboard as well look a little better now. But, you know, if you come out of that period, you should be happy with what you saw. That you can compete with these guys. You can skate with them. You can create offense with them. I mean, I mean, it's a power play. The difference is a power play and one mistake, and that's how it has been kind of all season, like you mentioned, Luke. But nonetheless, still 40 minutes of time here, and if the RedHawks can find a way to keep pushing on offense, then I think they can get a couple by Matt Davis and try and bring themselves back in.
So after one here from Cady Arena, it's Denver 2 and Miami nothing. We'll go to break. When we come back, Luke Lewis has your Red Hawk Radio intermission report. Jeff and I back for period number 2 in just a bit. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio.
Welcome back into Red Hawk Radio. I'm Luke Lewis here for the first intermission report. Miami trails Denver 2-0, getting outshot 12-5. Nonetheless, some fight out of the Red Hawks. Not the worst period ever, but find themselves trailing the reigning national champion 2-0. Now, 5 minutes and 4 seconds into the game, Miami was fortunate enough to get on the power play from a Samu Salmonen penalty for hooking. Power play looked okay with some good chances here and there. Kasper Nason with maybe the best chance of the game so far for the RedHawks, collecting a seam pass from Johnny Waldron. But the right-handed catching Matt Davis, we talked about how good he was on the pregame. An amazing glove save, as he has allowed 0 goals. As the fans cheer for the figure skaters that came out on the ice and did their performance. Zamboni's about to get on the ice and clean it up. We got 13 minutes left until the second period. More things to note. Miami, physicality looked really good to start the game. They were throwing bodies around, especially Connor Hutchinson using that big frame, laying guys out. We saw Raymond Vitalins take a pretty bad hit from behind. He seemed to be okay. No penalty called on the play. But we love what we saw out of Vitalins. He had a great period, played really hard, got some good shots on net, had an active stick in the D zone. So good things to build off from him. Denver highlighting their shot blocking ability in that period. Obviously, Miami only 5 shots on goal, but they had more chances than that. Denver blocking a ton of shots, playing just very good defense. And as we mentioned on the pregame, the top line for the Pioneers, centered by Carter King with Jack Devine and Aiden Thompson on the wings, were really showing their skill and speed and hockey IQ in that first period. Just controlling the puck in the O-zone, making plays. Jack Devine just working the perimeter of the ice. Couldn't get anything going, though, but some good shots on goal. Aiden Thompson looked pretty good on Denver's first power play. So clear to see why that top line is being as effective as they are this season. Then, first goal of the game for Denver came off the stick of Jake Fisher, the Avalanche draft pick. This was an odd play. Miami goalie Dahlmeyer went to shoot the puck down the ice. And just, I mean, an amazing play by Jake Fisher. Bats it out of the air, has a one-on-one chance with the goalie, and outweights him. Just a patient goal, and he buries it for his 6th of the year. Now we also saw a Denver goal at the end of the period on the power play. Denver has the top power play in the NCHC this year, scoring their 33rd goal of the year. A couple of chances by Aiden Thompson, as I mentioned, on this power play. But then James Reeder on the back door for his 8th of the year from Salmonen and Buckberger. We saw all 5 sticks on Denver touch the puck on that power play goal. Excellent puck movement. You can see why this team is so effective. But Miami surrenders more goals to freshmen as both goal scorers for Denver come off the stick of the freshman. We got about 10 minutes here until the second period as the Zams are starting to go. 2-0 Denver. We'll be right back here on the Red Hawk Intermission Report. Welcome back to the first intermission report here at Steve Coach Cady Arena in Oxford, Ohio, as Miami RedHawks trail the Denver Pioneers 2-0. About 7:30 left on the clock until the second period. Let's look at some keys of the game for Miami. Try to get back in this one. First off, they must defend the neutral zone a lot better. We saw the speed of Denver on display through the neutral zone, making passes, cross-ice passes. That's really where they dominated the first period. It was in the neutral zone. Miami's going to have to try to take a page from their playbook, get some speed through the neutral zone, and make some crisp passes. They also need to get some shots through. Only 5 shots in the first period. A lot of block shots by Denver, but you got to facilitate that puck to the net and get guys crashing the net. Really got to test out goalie Matt Davis because he's not going to crack easily. Then we got to continue to use the body. We saw a great body display by the RedHawks, laying hits all over the ice, finishing checks. We got to put the Pioneers on their toes. and use our physical presence. It's hard to out-talent a team like the Pioneers, defending national champions. Got to find other ways to make things happen on the ice, and it starts with a strong forecheck. And lastly, limit the top line for the Pioneers. We saw their talent on full display, specifically Aiden Thompson and Jack Devine. The puck possession when they were on the ice was constant. They were moving the puck around. We'd like to see that out of maybe the top 6 forwards for the RedHawks. We saw Johnny Waldron make some nice plays, some good passes. Raymond's Battalions, more of that, more cross-team passes as Casper Nason almost tucked one there on the power play. Just got to play hard, get shots through the net. Got about 5:45 here. Zams are off the ice. Luke West-Poley and Jeff Middleton will be back on the call in the second period. And I will be back in the second intermission report. Let's talk about some other Miami athletics as the Miami RedHawks basketball team hosts Kent State, coming off of back-to-back losses against Eastern Michigan and Western Michigan, looking to get things in the right direction. Last home game for the RedHawks, they took it to Toledo with Cam Kraft dropping 40 points. They will look to get him going again as Miami Athletics in full swing here in the new year. Still feels like January here in Oxford. Freezing temperatures. Warmed up a bit today, and it's supposed to be a little nicer next week, hopefully. But we got hockey to watch, so there's nothing to complain about there. About 4 minutes left in this one. I want to talk a little bit more about the Four Nations last night. The whole hockey world is absolutely buzzing about that tournament. It was just an absolute treat to get to watch guys like McKinnon and McDavid, the best players in the world, represent their country on the biggest stage. And it was just poetic to see Connor McDavid win the game for Canada. Heartbreaking for the United States, but a lot to be proud of. It almost seemed like Sidney Crosby was passing the torch to McDavid in that moment. And just an absolute treat. You got people from all over the country, all over the world, tuning in to watch the sport we love. And those guys did not disappoint, laying it all on the line. Obviously feel for guys like Quinn Hughes and Charlie McAvoy who weren't able to participate in that championship game. Quinn Hughes being out the entire tournament. The U.S., man, they really proved who they are, what kind of talent we got, what kind of talent's coming up the ranks. And it's going to be fun to watch them in the Olympics and the World Cup of Hockey in the future. Anyway, back to RedHawk hockey here. Got about 3 minutes left until intermission. Let's take a look at their schedule in the future. After tonight, we host Denver again with Zeev Buium back in the lineup. That will not be an easy test. Then the RedHawks travel to Minnesota Duluth for a 2-game stand there. And then lastly, March 7th and 8th, as I mentioned before, last homestand of the year, last games of the regular season against Western Michigan, the third-ranked team in the country. The schedule does not get any easier for the RedHawks before the NCHC playoffs starting March 14th. Best-of-3 series, quarterfinals, all hosted by the higher seeds. Miami will be on the road in that tournament. Try to get some momentum here on home ice the last few weeks heading into the playoffs. Only about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left until puck drop here in the second period. Hopefully Miami can get on the score sheet here, get this to become a game here. Luke West-Poley, Jeff Middleton will be on the call. I'll be back here on Red Hawk Radio for the second intermission report.
Second period on the way here from Cady Arena. Denver leads Miami 2-0. After a goal in the final minute, doubled the Pioneer lead. Lucas Poley, Jeff Middleton with you as Miami felt pretty good about where they were about halfway through that period. We saw Ethan Dahlmeyer in Miami's net come out to play a puck, give it away. That was what led to the first goal by Jake Fisher. But then the RedHawks took their first penalty of the game, and the NCHC's top power play made them pay, and they got a deep hole to dig out of just like last Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that when you look at it, even strength, obviously there was the one goal from Jake Fisher as a result of Dahlmeyer just kind of throwing it at him, and Fisher obviously with a great move to get around the big RedHawks goaltender, but you giving up a power play goal to the Pioneers, like you mentioned, the best power play in the NCHC, one of the best in all of college hockey. I mean, they're no slouch with the man advantage, and you can see why all 5 players touching the puck on that goal within a span of a couple seconds. But coming in, even strength-wise, Miami has to feel pretty good about where they were and looking to continue this into the second.
Underway as the RedHawks go left to right. Miami has at neutral ice right now, and it is Morrison moving it to the backhand and tossing it into the offensive zone. Morrison will chase it down and push it behind the net where Christoph Filion was in on the forecheck, and Filion dives and hooks one in front of the Denver net that just slides now to the near corner of the offensive zone. Matt Chapani was on it for Miami. John Emmons helping him, and it's wrapped up to the near point where Hutchison's got it for the RedHawks. Hutchison throws one intentionally wide. Emmons muscles his way onto the puck. Up to the point, it's Quinn, off for Hutchison. Shot through traffic, save made, puck sitting on the edge of the blue paint. RedHawks still poking away
still
at
loose.
it. Oh, it was loose, and Emmons took one swing at it after it popped free, and Denver did not like that very much, as Emmons is currently in a headlock in the Pioneer goal crease. But nonetheless, a couple good chances for the RedHawks and 2 shots as we hit an even 1 minute gone by in the second period.
And you know what, that entire play starts because Christoph Filion makes a dive and kind of just spears it into the corner with one hand. A great play from the Quinnipiac transfer for the RedHawks. And you get a couple chances. If you're the RedHawks, those are the kind of battles you got to win, and you got to try and set something up. Another good play from John Emmons as well to muscle his man off the puck right next to the net, creates that chance from the point.
RedHawks win the draw in the offensive zone. Michael Quinn throws it high and wide from the right point, and now Denver taps it out in a 2-on-1 going the other way. Down the right wing, a pass across there by Lorenz. Looking for his man across, got broken up. Quickly brought back out in front, and the second attempt partially fanned on by Sebrian. And the RedHawks get to it. Vitalins through center. That pass tipped away from its intended target. Puck sitting on the blue line, and Denver did not get it in before some players started to move up that far wing, and the Pios will touch it up offside. 18:33 to go, second period. And it's 2-0 Denver.
We've seen throughout the first period and even through this first almost minute and a half of the second, Miami's been able to create some things in the offensive zone. It's just about trying to get high danger chances off of those point shots that they love to take right after a cycle.
In the defensive zone for Miami, Ryquist pushes to the far corner for Simonovics, who lost it up the glass and out of play as he was trying to clear. And so the faceoff will come back into Miami's zone on the far side of the ice. 18:18 to go, second period, 2-0 Denver. The Pioneers are looking to get back to their winning ways. They have lost 2 of 3, most recently a 3-1 decision to North Dakota at home on Saturday last weekend. He crushed the Fighting Hawks on Friday night, 4-0. Prior to that, it
was a fun game.
Yeah, it was a weekend split against Arizona State, both in overtime out in the desert. Face-off win by the RedHawks as it's pushed to the far wall, and Tito Forsander will force it out to center. Puck pops up in the air where Johnny Waldron tried to fire it into the Denver zone, but he was unable to do so. Pioneers with it now, backing up on their own defensive blue line. It is sent up the far wall. James Reeder taps it into the Miami end. RedHawks go D to D. Tossed high in the air across center ice and into the Pioneer zone by Hampus Ryquist, but back out to neutral ice it goes where Theodore Forsander will play it in for Miami. Up the near wall, Ambrosio with a steal through the middle to Filion. He lost it. Ambrosio now with a shot, and his stick failed him. It broke in half, and he'll have to head to the bench. And now Denver with a break the other way. Down the left wing, it's Sam Harris trying to leave it at the left point for Salmonen, who was heading down the wall. And the RedHawks broke that up, and Morrison will give it off for Cox, who skates it up to the blue line and dumps it into the offensive zone. Up the near wall, puck springs free, and Spencer Cox comes to the near side of the ice now to go get it. Miami with possession now and holding in their defensive end. Moulton threads it up the far wing. Christoph Filion throws a pass through the middle. Shapani knocked it out of the air, but fanned on the shot from the slot. Now a second try, and that whistles wide. Caragiello will round it back in for the RedHawks now. And a 1-on-2 battle ensues as Shapani, the lone RedHawk there, and the Pioneers do pull it free. Up the far side of the ice, Quinn could not seal the wall, and the puck gets by him along the dasher and back out past center. Dylan Moulton skates it around the net and up the near side of the ice. He gives it away at center. Capone kicks it forward, but Michael Quinn will regather for the RedHawks. Quinn up ahead for Messenberg, sidestepping across the center red. He will shovel it in. Pioneers play it in front of their own net where Capone was hindered for a moment off the Messenberg forecheck, but does get it out of the zone. RedHawks right back in. Sullivan cross-quarter dump to the far side. Vitalin's on the half wall, wrapping it back in. Below the goal line, Sullivan applies a hit. Pioneers have plenty of numbers back, but they turn it over. And now Sullivan will skate it up to the left point, banking off the wall for Vitalins. Sidesteps one. Vitalins forces his way to the front, and Davis somehow got on top of it. No real shot there for Vitalins as much as he just pushed that puck into the blue paint. And Davis just smothers it, and we get a whistle with 15:58 to go in the second. Still 2-0 Pioneers.
And a couple great shifts from the RedHawks there. Really, really like the start to the second. Obviously, plenty of time still left, 15:58 remaining. But love to see this start. Really first to loose pucks, engaging physically like they were early in the first period, and then causing turnovers and forcing the opposition to make plays in their own end.
Denver wins the faceoff and lifts it out to center. Puck was tangled in the feet of Kasper Nassen. Pioneers spring it free and into the offensive zone. A tipped slide on to the net in Dahlmeyer, who made the save. Pioneers just kind of slipped the puck out in front, and Devine shoved it up in the air. But Dahlmeyer makes the save, and with 15:47 to go, we get a stoppage, and this Denver team continues to transition up the ice very quickly.
And that's the thing about playing these really good NCHC teams. North Dakota's the same way, Western Michigan. These teams, you can have the puck in their zone and have the better of the play for the first 5 minutes, and then it takes one chance for them to come back and add another goal to the board. And we've talked about that with Anthony Noreen a lot, just how easy it is for a team to score in spurts that's as talented as Denver is.
RedHawks get it to the offensive zone. Shapani pulls it free, saucing across the ice. Simonovics dancing down the near wall, powers to the net front, but couldn't shove that shot on as there was all kinds of traffic in front. Denver takes it out 2-on-2. Devine tried to slip it forward. Good job by Ryquist to steal it away. He turned it over up high, but that puck by an inch got out of the zone, and that did not allow Buckberger to get in on net. That would have been a golden chance for the Pioneers. Instead, it's offside by the thinnest of margins.
Exactly what we were just talking about. One mistake leads to what would be, like you said, a golden chance. I mean, there was nobody in the slot. Buckberger had literally all of the time in the world after keeping that puck, or what he thought keeping that puck in. But fortunately for Hampus Ryquist and the RedHawks, puck was just outside the offensive zone.
Miami wins the faceoff, and Ambrosio will dump in. And now a turnover in the high slot by the Pioneers. Ambrosio gloved it down, but the feed was not clean, and Waldron will have to grab it along the near wall. Working up and down, Waldron skating up to the point, spins around and will dump it in. Forsander working below the goal line, and now the puck will just slowly mosey up the far wall. Tapped up to the point where it's held in by the RedHawks, shot by Moulton, save for Davis. And Denver gets the rebound and will twist it out past center. right, heads into the offensive zone, catches it off the end while he gets dumped over by Dylan Moulton. As those two remain tangled up, now Rieger Lorenz on it for the Pioneers in the near corner. Lorenz couldn't find his man behind. RedHawks get in the way of that pass, and Spencer Cox will skate it forward for Miami. RedHawks dump it into the offensive zone. Lorenz provides the breakout for Denver across the ice. Puck put into space where the RedHawks get to it. Into the far corner of the Denver zone. Now to the near wall. Caragiello pastes his man in Polkamp, who was working with the puck. RedHawks with a quick steal and a shot for the near wall. Saved by Davis, who holds on. 13:56 to go in the second period. Still 2-0 Denver.
It's crazy the difference between what this Miami team looks like when they're able to break the puck out of their D zone really cleanly and when they can't. Saw late in that first period, especially when the RedHawks get on the penalty kill, that breaking the puck out is a lot harder, and then it took a couple bounces here and there, or it comes off a stick or a body, whatever. But now through these first 7 or 6 minutes, I should say, breakouts have been really clean, and the RedHawks have gotten some chances in the offensive zone because of it.
Denver works it to the offensive zone, but Harris was trying to give D-to-D, and that pass got tipped out of the zone, and Denver on the regroup backs it behind the red line, and a pass misses. They'll ice it here with 13:38 to go in the second period. 2-0 Pioneers. Still the score. Shot gap closing a little bit, 14-10 in favor of Denver. Nasson, Vitalins, Emmons out there with Hutchison and Quinn for the RedHawks.
If you're the RedHawks here, you're trying to get some more high danger chances. A lot of shots from the outside, not really anything close to the slot. That Raymond Vitalins chance early in this period is probably the closest they've been to the net for a shot. And it wasn't even really a shot, just kind of a shove. Still looking for those high danger chances for the RedHawks here, trying to create something in the offensive zone that isn't a point shot or a rebound.
Denver iced it off the face-off, so they'll back it right back up where we started.
Obviously, you'll take rebounds, try and create some chaos. That's how you're gonna win games. I mean, you're not, like we said earlier, not gonna outskill this Denver team, but creating chaos is never a bad thing. But also trying to get this puck to the slot, get some more high danger chances from inside that home plate area.
Face-off win by the RedHawks. Ambrosio missed his man on the drop pass. 2-on-1 for the Pioneers. Harris waiting, shooting. He missed it high and wide on the left side. Bounces back over the net. Dahlmeyer had it hit off his back. It almost rolled down his back and in, but he falls backward on it, and somehow, I believe, that puck never crossed the goal line.
I never saw it fully cross the goal line at the very least. It was definitely close, but Dahlmeyer going to his left after the play to try and get back in the net. It looked like it just landed on his right pad. Yeah, it sure did. As he was moving back towards the center of the crease, it lands on his right pad, and he just held it there. Wow. Lucky break for the RedHawks and Ethan Dahlmeyer, but very fortunate, especially if you're Colby Ambrosio. A little miscommunication here on the near side point in the offensive zone leads to a 2-on-1. Great save initially by Dahlmeyer as well.
Face-off win for the Pioneers, and a shot wired wide by Kent Anderson. Puck jammed up in the near corner of Denver's offensive zone. Pioneers start skating it up the wall, but Simonovics will steal it away. Back into a puck battle, slid up the near wall, and Denver will leave it for Capone, left point, across the ice for a shot by Anderson that's sticked aside by Dahlmeyer. And now Ambrosio, a little bit of speed ahead for Shapani. Back for Ambrosio on the drop pass. Steps to the side and heads left. He'll dump it into the offensive zone. Shapani will now shove it further. Miami's got tired bodies out there, and they'll just have to go for a change. As that hit Ambrosio as he was changing. Denver, meanwhile, takes it just across the center red, throws it on net, and Dahlmeyer holds. That hit Ambrosio's skate.
Yep.
The man he was changing for was already on the ice. Eric Frank was counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with his finger. You could see it on the near side. And that was another too many men that was missed, and David Carl is not super happy with it. But Miami gets away with one there. Second time in the game they have, and that'll bring us to a timeout on the ice. 12:25 to go, second period. D-zone draw coming up for the RedHawks, trailing 2-0 when we return. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. 12:25 remaining, middle period. Denver 2, Miami nothing. RedHawks got away with it. Pretty obvious too many men right before the break. So Miami gets a lucky bounce right before the media timeout. Don't send Denver to their second power play, in which they've already cashed in once tonight. Instead, it'll be a defensive zone faceoff for the RedHawks. And Brian Gorkoff drops the puck. Miami won the faceoff, but we get a whistle and I believe a false start. And so they'll do it again. And now the puck is dropped.
There we go.
And Denver will win the faceoff this time. Pioneers do have the advantage in the circles, as you'd expect. They're the best team on faceoffs in the NCHC. Miami is at the bottom. RedHawks, though, do steal it and break it out. It's Morrison down the right wing. Puck taken off his stick, ends up in the right corner offensive zone. John Emmons will swing it behind for Christoph Fillion. Fillion fakes going in behind, heads up towards the point, and now will again wrap the puck in deep. Emmons trying to apply some forecheck, but Denver does break it out. Devine kicks it to his stick across the ice for Carter King. King, top of the right circle, steps in and fires with a snapshot high and wide left of the net. Dahlmeyer might have got a piece with the left shoulder. There is a stick laying on the ice. It does not look like it belongs to anybody currently on. Oh yeah, Sullivan, who just headed off. As Moulton dumped it into the offensive zone, he was trying to forecheck and lost his stick, and the Pios will take it back up. Thompson throws it into some open ice at the far point. Jabbed in by Buckberger behind the cage. RedHawks to it. Messenberg up the near wall for Vitalins. Handing off. Hutchison enters the offensive zone, dragging and shooting, and that ends up wide in the right corner. Puck back out to neutral ice, and now a 2-on-1 developing for the Pioneers. Shot from the right side. That was Fisher, and the save was made, or rather Jared Wright, who had the shot. Save made by Dahlmeyer on that 2-on-1 chance. Denver pretty quick on these 2-on-1s. Miami has made it a pretty big priority, I should say, to cover the pass, as you're typically supposed to, but Denver hasn't really thought about making that pass much today. It's pretty much been shot first for a team that shoots more than anybody in the NCHC.
Yeah, and it's pretty impressive watching these two teams and the differences between them, because Denver, obviously reigning national champions, speaks for itself, but you can just see the level that they're playing at. You know, they'll pick up a loose puck in the neutral zone, and then out of nowhere there's a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-2 or some sort of odd man rush, and that's how a lot of their chances have come. But still, 19 shots for the Pioneers already, not even halfway through the second period. Pretty impressive stuff so far from them. It's always a treat to get to watch them, I will say.
They've been perhaps the most consistent team in the nation over the last decade. Miami clears it down the ice, and it just misses Matt Davis in net. An inch or two wide and icing on the RedHawks with 10:47 to go in the middle period. 2-0 Denver. And the Pioneers have the game's last 5 shots. It's now 19-10 in favor of DU.
They are taking a long time on these faceoffs, I will say.
Face-off win by the Pioneers, and twisted in front on the feed. It goes straight through the slot and back out to center ice. NCHC made a change in their director of officiating in the offseason. But I can tell you from experience that the old director of officiating, Don Adam, that drove him crazy. Is not getting the puck down on the ice. He wanted the puck dropped as fast as possible. RedHawks have it in the offensive zone. Ambrosio will swipe it in. In the near corner, it is Eric Polkamp skating it up the wall. He will find Salmonen, who just lost it outside the zone. Denver will bang it back in, but have to tag up for offside. Spencer Cox throws it all the way down the ice. Shapani might have got it with a skate as Davis directs it to the right side of his cage. Miami steals it away, though, and Shapani with a shot. Another chance for Waldron on the rebound, and Davis makes the save. And an uncharacteristic turnover there by Denver right in front of their own net. And Shapani and Waldron each had shots from the top of the blue paint, and Davis stood tall on both.
You've seen why Matt Davis has had so much success, coming up huge against the RedHawks so far tonight. Had to make a couple big saves there on two of the RedHawks' best goal scorers as well. Fantastic sequence from the RedHawks as well. Really good forecheck and really great opportunities there to try and get one on the board. But unfortunately, those are the kind of chances you've got to put in the back of the net.
RedHawks had a shot off the draw as Waldron sent it in from the right hash, and that got blocked. Denver out with speed, as they typically do. Across the ice, it's Fisher in the high slot, who risks one that's blocked wide. Now the RedHawks will try to transition quickly. Waldron down the right wing, handing for Shapani, and he gets his pocket picked. 3-on-2 developing for the Pioneers. Brown up ahead, waiting, shooting, he scores! Garrett Brown in on the odd man rush. And that time just caught Dahlmeyer cheating a little bit for the pass. And he took it short side into the left post and in. And Brown has his first career goal. The sophomore from San Jose makes it 3-0 Denver.
Yeah, and once again, look at the differences between these two teams. Like I said earlier, this Denver team, man, they just come out with speed no matter what. They come out and get that loose puck. Really, they force a turnover, and they move out with speed. Ends up being a 3-on-2. Like you said, Luke Dahlmeyer cheating a little bit on the pass. The man back checking, but now that couple chances from Chupani and Waldron look all the more important as you get two big saves from Matt Davis, and then the Pioneers come the other way and put another one on the board.
So Brown unassisted at 10:42 is the third goal of the game for Denver. Second unassisted goal here tonight for the Pioneers. And with 8:45 to go in the second, it is 3-0. Morrison directs it into the offensive zone for Miami. As the RedHawks will work, and Sullivan right in front of the RedHawk bench has it slip through his legs, and the Pioneers will chip it out. Feenstra racing back on it for Miami. He will take it all the way back into his own end and bank it against the end boards, where Messenberg directs it up the near side of the ice. Sullivan had his pocket picked by Polkamp, who lifts it across the ice, grabbed on the far blue line by Wright. Heading up the ice, he'll kick it up against the end boards. RedHawks will bring numbers back and steal it away. Carjoela now with speed down the right side. Enters the zone, hits the brakes, and will shovel it in behind the Denver net. Pioneers, though, will work it up the far side of the ice and try to break it through center, but the pass hopped the stick of Riga Lorenz, and it's down for icing with 7:50 to go in the second. 3-0 Denver off the first career goal by the sophomore defenseman Garrett Brown.
For the RedHawks, you really need to get something here. You're probably frustrated that you're getting this kind of chances and you're setting up in the offensive zone, you're winning battles and you're not getting rewarded for it, but still got to keep pushing here. Try and get something on the board. Would love to see a goal before the second period ends, just to try and get them back in this game, because it's not like they've looked out of it.
Denver throws it all the way down the ice, but Wright beats Ryquist by a few steps and negates the icing. Ryquist looked like he stumbled a bit and just kind of stopped. And so Denver will get it to the offensive zone, and now Nasson takes a penalty. There's a puck battle along the near boards, and Nasson just put two hands onto the back of Kieran Sebrian and bowled him over, and that will be a cross-check against the Miami wing.
And that just can't happen. We've already mentioned how fantastic this Denver Pioneers power play is, and if you're Casper Nasson, you're already down 3-0. You're creating some momentum for your team, and then all of a sudden it goes the other way. You give a goal up, and then you go right back to the penalty kill. That just can't happen. It's not a good enough sequence of events.
Denver 1 for 1 tonight. Miami killed well for about the first minute of the power play, and that was really when Denver started to go to work, got a couple of chances, and eventually the power play goal by James Reeder. RedHawks win the faceoff, and Denver, though, will steal it away off a puck battle along the near wall and try to set up the power play. Puck, though, not coming off the boards just yet. Miami gets it and fails to clear, and now it's Devine Skating it across the ice, top of the right circle, heads down to the dot, will circle the net. Devine still surveying, up to the left point for Polkamp. Back for Devine, left side boards. Center point Polkamp, handles, gives to the far side for Thompson, who heads it back down to the corner. Back into the middle of the ice. It was a quick little give and go between King and Thompson, and that got broken up, and the RedHawks
hit Anthony
fired
Noreen,
that thing, into the bench. And Coach Noreen got hit.
Had some choice words. Hit him right on the backside, I believe. He's still in coaching mode though.
He's got the dry erase marker in his right hand.
They're wondering if he can change on that, and he sure can.
Yeah, into the bench he can change. Over the glass you cannot. And so Miami will send out a new group of 4 for the next sequence. Minute 23 left on the power play. 6:52 to go, second period. Face-off win by the Pioneers. Polkamp off for Devine, left circle. Stops his feet. Back up for Polkamp, center point. Across for Thompson. Waiting and muscled off the puck by John Emmons, who could have poked that forward maybe for a 2-on-1, but good recovery by the Pioneers, who just delayed him long enough to steal it back. So puck back out of neutral ice. 1 minute to go on the power play. Denver brings it back in. King, the Pioneer captain, to the left point for Polkamp. Back for King, who's the points leader as well for this Pioneers team. Devine up for Polkamp. Thompson across the ice for Devine, and he scores. Nobody on the ice reacted. Dahlmeyer slid across, had the ground covered for the cross-ice one-timer by Devine, but it went right between his legs. And Jack Devine, the senior's got his 9th goal of the season and 53rd of his career. And it's 4-0 Pioneers as they get their second power play goal of the night.
Yeah, I mean, Devine coming in, the leading point scorer for these Pioneers, the senior round 7 pick by the Panthers, but 41 points, now 42 points, I should say, in 30 games. Easily one of the most talented players on this Pioneers lineup, and you can see why. Loves to possess the puck, really strong skater, and obviously a great shot there as he just overpowers Ethan Dahlmeyer on the one-timer on the power play.
Yeah, beg your pardon, it was Devine, the team leader in points now with 42. 7th round draft choice of the Florida Panthers back in 2022. Assist to Thompson and Polkamp at 13:45, and it is 4-0 Denver with 5:55 to go in the second period. Scoreboard did not reflect that for a moment. Was confused, but now it reads 4-0 Pioneers. And the RedHawks are reeling a little bit here, but will get it into the offensive zone. Below the goal line, it is Shapani skating it to the corner, looking out front, throws a shot from a sharp angle that is easily handled by Davis. Ambrosio now taps it along for Waldron. Working it up the wall. Waldron gets shoved into the wall from behind, and Brown will get called for a penalty off what was a hit that looked pretty bad in real time. And Waldron keeled over a little bit at the waist, heading to the bench as we've reached a timeout on the ice. This should just be a 2-minute penalty, I believe, on Brown. And it is indeed a 2-minute boarding call. And that will send us to a timeout. So 5:28 to go, second period. Denver 4, Miami nothing, as the Pioneers extend the lead off the goal by Jack Devine. We're back after this. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. 5:28 to go, second period. Denver 4, Miami nothing. Just a reminder, a packed weekend here on Red Hawk Radio. Basketball coming up in just over an hour when we're done. Then tomorrow, another doubleheader starting with women's basketball. 12:30 pregame, 1 o'clock start between the RedHawks and the Buffalo Bulls. And then a 6 o'clock start tomorrow night here for game 2 of the series between Miami and Denver. RedHawks go to work on their second power play of the night. Denver wins the faceoff, though, and clears it down. And now Carter King has it in the offensive zone for the Pioneers. Will throw it back. Denver electing to hold the zone, and Polkamp with a big drive from the left wing. And a pad save made by Dahlmeyer. So Denver could have just backed it up and run more time off there, but they were looking for offense and nearly had some. Pioneers will again force it deep into the Miami end, as the RedHawks will now finally have possession and bring it forward. Quinn, lane down the right side, shooting, and it just deflects high of the bar. That took a touch from a Pioneer in front. Looks like that was Seabrian. And just over top of the net, Ethan Dahlmeyer with a risky play as the Pioneers clear in front of his own net. So he kind of deked out his man. And we got another penalty coming up, and who's this going to go on?
Too many, man.
The referee that called it, that was Andy Thackerberry, pointed at the Miami bench.
Is it too many men?
Yeah, and it is
I
too many men
so,
call.
yeah.
And
It's
so
about time.
4:30 to go. Yeah, that's the third time is the charm for Miami.
Yep.
That's the third time they've committed a too many men penalty. And for the RedHawks, finally it gets called. That's the first one of the night.
That's
like we said, we're a biased crew here on Red Hawk Radio, but two pretty obvious too many men penalties that the RedHawks got away with earlier in the game, and they will not get away with a third. And Miami will send Colby Ambrosio to go serve it, and that is just a brutal way to end a power play in a game that you're down 4-0 in.
Yeah.
Less than a minute of power play time for the RedHawks, and they spent the majority of that time in their own zone. So we'll skate 1:02 at 4-on-4, and then 58 seconds of power play time for the Pioneers, who are already 2 for 2 on the man advantage. And so we get a long delay here on the faceoff. Denver will win it. Polkamp with a wrist shot from the top of the circle, and saved by Dahlmeyer with the right shoulder. It goes up into the netting. Just 1 second came off the clock, and they'll drop the puck again. Face-off win this time by the RedHawks. Miami cannot clear it because it's still even strength right now, and so the RedHawks hold it in their own end. It is Vitalins up ahead for Dylan Moulton, skating it diagonally across the center M, entering the zone. Moulton throws it out in front. Nobody there for him on the back door, as he will give it up to the point. And Raymond's Vitalins. Shifted back out to neutral ice. Christoph Filion with it for Miami. Finds Vitalins. Enters the zone down the right wing. Vitalins skating across, dragging through traffic, stuck in his skates, and finally pried away from him by Jack Devine, who skates it around his own net. Devine already a goal tonight. Up ahead, Thompson catches the pass just inside the offensive zone. 15 seconds to go in the 4-on-4. Thompson drags, shoots from the left circle, and a save made with the blocker by Dahlmeyer. RedHawks take the loose puck, and Miami now will head forward. Waldron skates by one, and Reeder tries to dance through 3, but can't do so. He'll just throw a weak shot on net that Davis easily handles and covers, as that is just enough time down to the very second for Brown to come out of the box. And so 58 seconds of power play time now on the way for the Pioneers, but they'll start it in their own defensive zone.
Yeah, this is a big kill for the RedHawks here. Denver 2 for 2 on the power play so far tonight. Abbreviated one here, 58 seconds only for the Pioneers, but still plenty of time for them to get something if they want to. I mean, we saw how quickly it can develop earlier in this game.
So we'll have about half the normal power play time. Pioneers get it in deep, and Mike Feenstra kind of tangled up with Rieger Lorenz, who lost his stick, so he was unable to grab it. Denver does, though, get it to the far side of the ice and back around to the near wing. Puck has not been pulled off the boards yet. Finally is to the middle for Lorenz, who missed on the pass, and again, Miami tries to clear off the glass and just shoots it over. And so the RedHawks can't clear and will have to take a defensive zone face-off with 29 seconds left in the bench minor, served by Ambrosio. 4-0 Denver, 2:58 to go, second period.
Everybody's okay in the stands, fortunately. That was a bullet.
It was. Face-off win by the Pioneers. Reeder plays catch, has it back. Now Buckberger, left point, handling. Back down for Reeder near corner. Up for Fisher now, walking down the left wall. Buckberger, center point, mishandled it. Just held it in on the blue line. Fisher down to the corner, a pass across by Reeder.
Huge
Got
save.
by his first man. Salmonen found it on the backside, and the save was made on him by Dahlmeyer. Now Shapani with a block shot. Ambrosio out of the box, almost caught that in stride. Miami could have headed forward 2-on-1, but Denver broke it up. Spencer Cox will jam it through center. This will not be icing as Shapani will get down to it first. Davis out of his net, throws it up the far wall where Waldron grabs, gives it across for Michael Quinn, who had a lane down the right side, crashing in as the trailer, but it hopped over his stick, and he'll have to twist and dump. RedHawks, though, do win possession back. Ambrosio driving net front, chips it on. Pad save Davis. He'll direct it to the far corner where it's fluttered ahead. King across center. Punches it in for the Pioneers. Into the offensive zone, bracketed by white jerseys. Gets it up to the left point for Ashcroft. Now to the far corner. All the way around the zone goes Garrett Brown. To the corner for Thompson. Back up Brown. Center point one-timer goes wide. Bounce back in front, but Dahlmeyer paddled it back below the goal line. Pioneers still keep it alive. Now Sullivan with a steal on the far wall, and the RedHawks will get it out. Hutchison will fire it in. Minute 12 to go in the second period. 4-0 Pioneers. Shots 24-14 in favor of Denver. Lifted in on net. Dahlmeyer snatches it out of the air, and he will catch and hold on with 1 minute remaining in the second period. And a face-off coming up on the near side of the ice in Denver's offensive zone.
I've really liked Garrett Brown's game tonight. Round 4 pick by the Winnipeg Jets in 2022, and he's a really strong skater. Probably wouldn't see that initially, but really good at possessing the puck, especially on that last play. Created a chance for himself on a one-timer as well.
Shot sent in, got blocked off the face-off, and now Frankie Caragiuelo will chip it forward, hoping to get it to himself, but he got beat in the race. He was actually short of the red line. When he sent that forward, Anderson gets to it first, and it's icing on the RedHawks with 53.8 to go, and they'll back it back up into Miami's zone.
This back half of this period has really been played in the Miami defensive zone. Obviously, the power play doesn't help anything, but
Face-off win by the Pioneers, and a shot by Fisher gets blocked.
not really anything going here for the RedHawks as of now.
RedHawks get it into the offensive end with 42 to go in the second period, still looking for that first goal. Pioneers take control. Fisher skates it into the offensive zone, feeds Capone. Pushes it in deep, and the RedHawks will draw a penalty as Cox just stepped around his man and caught Hagen Burroughs reaching. He'll commit a tripping penalty as the Pioneers touch up with 25.6 seconds to go in the second period. Still a comfortable 4-0 lead for Denver.
Yeah, and a good play by Spencer Cox. I mean, he's coming around behind his own net and then makes a move around the defender and able to draw a penalty there. And for the RedHawks, it's not a must score in the first 25.6 seconds remaining in this period and of this power play, but we'd like to see a goal here just to try and get some momentum going your way, create something, set something up, because like I just said, it's felt like a lot of this last 10 minutes of this period has been in the RedHawks defensive zone.
Denver wins the faceoff and sends it to Miami's end. Lorenz pursuing on the forecheck, and Miami will turn it over. Now Lorenz in a one-on-one with 10 seconds to go, wrists one in, And a save made with the glove by Dahlmeyer, who will freeze it with 8.3 seconds to go. And Denver can maybe set up something for offense here, despite being on the penalty kill.
And it's the differences between these two power plays, obviously the differences between these two teams in general is very stark, but also the Pioneers don't really turn the puck over on the power play. And a lot of the zone exits for Miami so far on this man advantage and on their last man advantage as well. Big shot there. But there's been a lot of turnovers.
Yeah, Polkamp had the shot saved by Dahlmeyer. Miami's just going to push this in as the period comes to an end, but nothing doing for the RedHawks in the first 25 seconds of the power play. Miami gives up 2 more, and it is 4-0 Denver. Headed into the final 20 minutes here on night 1. Miami did it down 4-1 last week in the third, rallying to tie. They'll have to do it from 4-0 down here in the third if they want to tie in game 1 of this series. But overall, not as good a period for Miami here in the second. In the first, you could excuse some of those goals. Obviously, the first one was just a bad mistake that happened. The second one on the power play, which you don't love to see, but you can kind of just pin that back on taking a penalty. You gave up a power play goal here in the second, too, but you spent nearly the entire period, Jeff, in your defensive zone if you're Miami, as you mentioned, and just going to make things really difficult on yourselves now in the final 20 minutes. Yeah,
100%. And obviously, having 2 weekends in a row where you're going down 4 goals or 3 goals, it's not ideal. If you're head coach Anthony Noreen, you're not really a fan of that. You want to start games hot. You want to get a lead. But if you're Miami, you can do it. And I think that's the most important thing coming into this third period. But also, you just got to get something going here on offense. You got to get one past Matt Davis here. And I think the minute and 35 seconds on this power play is going to be as important as ever. Try and get some confidence. Get one by the obviously stud goaltender in the Denver net. He's made some big saves, but it hasn't really felt like Miami's challenged him other than those couple shots by Chupani and Waldron. Felt like those were the best shots that they've had all game. And they've been few and far between for sure. So you're trying to get more high danger heading into the third and see what you can do on Matt Davis and this Denver squad even before tomorrow's game as well.
40 minutes in from Cady Arena. It's Denver 4 in Miami nothing. RedHawks will carry over a minute 35 of power play time into the third off the tripping penalty whistled against Hagen Burroughs. See if Miami can build off that coming out of the locker room. We'll take a break. Luke Lewis has a Red Hawk Radio intermission. When we come back, you're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio.
Welcome back into the second intermission report here on Red Hawk Radio as Miami trails Denver 4-0, getting outshot 26-14 coming into the third period. We got about 12 minutes until puck drop in the third. Let's talk about that second period. Some of the keys to the period we talked about in the first intermission report. Miami executed quite well, coming out, laying the body, getting a lot of shots on goal, getting guys to the net. It's kind of where things ended for Miami offensively, though. But Vitolin's with an early chance, crashing the net. And Ambrosio with a good chance. Good start for Miami. That's when things started to take a little bit of a turn. We had a crazy play off the faceoff, which was actually executed perfectly by Johnny Waldron winning it right back to Colby Ambrosio, but it fell right off his stick. And there was a bit of a weird miscommunication with the defenseman, which then led to a 2-on-1, which was saved. But a weird play. It hit the goalie and then hit the glass and almost went right in on Dahlmeyer, but kept that one out. It was still 2-0. Jupani and Waldron found themselves right in the slot with back-to-back good chances, but Matt Davis just proven again why he's had so much success in the past, just absolutely stone colding him. 14 shots on goal for Miami, no goals for them. Matt Davis looks stellar. That's when Denver finally got on the board for their first goal of the period and third of the game. It was Garrett Brown with his first career goal in college hockey. Came off a 3-on-1 after a Miami turnover. Not a great play. I'm sure Anthony Oreen wasn't too pleased with that. We saw kind of a lackadaisical zone entry. Johnny Waldron came in, not with a lot of speed, and just dropped it off. Miscommunication again, leading to that 3-on-1, but Garrett Brown looking absolutely pumped after that one. His teammates grabbed the puck, his first career goal, giving Denver a 3-0 lead. It was more Denver after that as well, after a Casper Nason cross-checking penalty put the ever-so-dangerous Denver power play back on. And obviously, what we saw in the first period on the Denver power play was more of the same. Miami just having trouble clearing the puck. They've had a few chances. They were limiting them. They were limiting Denver early, and they just couldn't clear the puck. And when you can't clear it, bad things are going to happen. And that's when we saw the leading point scorer for the Pioneers, Jack Devine, score his 9th of the year and 53rd career goal. He is up to 42 points on the season now. And Denver continues to lead the conference in power play goals with their 34th of the year and second tonight. But a nice play, cross-seam pass, one-timer, right through Dahlmeyer's legs. It was pretty much more Denver the rest of the period. Garrett Brown on the Pioneers took a boarding penalty and sent Miami back to the power play. However, more of the same for the RedHawks on the power play. Denver almost controlled the puck more than the RedHawks did on the kill. And Miami couldn't really get anything going. And then with, a too many men penalty just a minute into that power play, completely killing any chances the RedHawks had. We saw it, they had some problems with too many men in the first period, but nothing got called by the ref. Anthony Noreen cannot be happy with that. A lot of miscommunication happening on the RedHawks side of things. But that scraps their chances on the power play. We went to 4-on-4 for a bit, chances here and there. Pretty impressed with Raymond's Vitалens. I think he's playing with a lot of heart tonight. He's getting a lot of chances, but not much doing for the RedHawks there. And then Denver obviously closing out the last minute of the power play there, and more clearing problems by Miami. We saw Spencer Cox have a chance to clear it. He sent it right over the boards. So that's something, the RedHawks are going to look to clean up, is clearing the puck in the next few games, especially tomorrow. Things are not going to get easier. Zeev Buyum will be back in the lineup for the Pioneers. But just costly mistakes. You got to do everything you can right to beat a team like the Pioneers, the reigning national champions. However, good news for the RedHawks. They will be heading to the power play when this third period gets underway. There's about 1:35 left on the power play. But, I sound like a broken record. More of the same for the RedHawks on that power play. In those 25 seconds, Denver had 2 shots on goal, and the RedHawks had 0. A lot to clean up, but look to get on the board here. Try to at least build some momentum for tomorrow. If they can't somehow get back in this game, I'm sure Coach Anthony Noreen has some choice words to say for his squad, because we need to see a little more heart out here. Anyway, 6:52 left as the Zams just get off the ice right now. Third period, Luke Westpally and Jeff Middleton will be back on the call before heading over to the basketball game, as I mentioned before. So tune in there. Luke Westpally will be back on the call against Kent State. 6:30 left until the third period. I'm going to step out for just a brief moment, and we'll be back on Red Hawk Radio. All right, folks, just about 4:45 here until the third period gets underway. Let's talk about some keys for the third period that the RedHawks are going to have to do. Obviously, limit the turnovers, a lot of neutral zone mistakes, crossing the blue line, a lot of miscommunication. That is another thing. Stay out of the box because this Denver power play is lethal. And if Miami has any chance of getting back in this game, they're going to have to get more shots on goal and improve on the power play if they get another chance. Nonetheless, the 4-goal deficit, it's going to be hard to come back on. So hopefully Miami could at least get a few on the board, build some momentum for tomorrow night, and have a better showing tomorrow against the Pioneers. Let's take a peek at some college hockey scores around the country with the 5:30 start time here in Oxford. Most games are just getting underway right now. Boston and Northeastern scoreless in the first period. Massachusetts up 1-0 against New Hampshire in the first period there. And most other games, the puck has recently dropped. And then we got in the Big Ten, Penn State up 1-0 as well against the Spartans. As I mentioned before, Miami basketball, right after this game, there will be no post game for the hockey game here on Red Hawk Radio. But don't miss it. Poley will be back on the call. I will be signing out here in a few minutes. Thanks for tuning in here on Red Hawk Radio. Let's see the Red Hawks come out firing, have a passionate period, and play the game with some heart. I'm sure that's what head coach Anthony Noreen is preaching in the locker room. Obviously not the season the Red Hawks, have wanted, but they're still playing for that M on the front of their jersey, still playing for our school, for each other, for the guy sitting next to them. So passion has always got to be there, and I'm sure these guys care just as much as anyone else. We got 2 minutes and 30 seconds left until the third period here. Poley, Jeff Middleton will be back on the call. Thanks for joining me here for the second intermission report on Red Hawk Radio.
Third period coming up here from Cady Arena. It's Denver 4 and Miami nothing here on Friday night. Luke West, Poley, Jeff Middleton with you. Again, just a reminder, Miami basketball comes your way in just about 40 minutes across town. RedHawks and the Kent State Golden Flashes. Right when we are done, we will not have post-game coverage for you for hockey tonight, as we will jump right into that basketball broadcast, which can also be found on our channel if you head over to that stream here on Red Hawk Radio. Back here on the ice, Denver scored 2 in the first, added 2 more in the second. This game has gotten more and more dominant for the Pioneers on the road as time has passed, but they will start this third period on the kill as the faceoff is won by Kieran Sebrian, and we are underway. 1:30 left to go in the minor penalty to Hagen Burrows, and the RedHawks will start from behind their own net. Through center, it's Ambrosio to the near wing. Nasson enters the Denver zone and will throw it up left point for Michael Quinn. He holds and flings it back down for Nasson, left corner. Quinn at the point, back to the half wall for Nasson. Now in the corner, it's Ambrosio. Rounds the left circle. Back down low, Nasson. He's tied up. Ambrosio throws it into the pile in the corner. Puck springs free. Ambrosio throws it out front. Nobody's there. Comes all the way to Waldron on the right point, who settles it back down. Waldron across for Quinn. Quinn walks center point. Back for Waldron, top of the right circle. Backs to the half wall. From the outside hash, Waldron to the dot. Up for Quinn. Now Nasson with a one-timer and a sliding block made. That was Kent Anderson that got in the way. 32 seconds remaining on the penalty as Quinn finds Waldron, dragging, shooting, save made by Davis. Another chance, and Ambrosio scores. On the rebound, Ambrosio, it looked like, had that come off the top of the stick, and it just went up and over Matt Davis with a high arching trajectory. A power play goal for Miami's Colby Ambrosio, his second straight weekend with a goal on the man advantage.
Yeah.
The Boston College transfer has his 6th goal as a Red Hawk, and 1:10 into the third, it's 4-1.
I was shocked that it even went in. It was a little bit surprising. Looked like it might have ended up floating wide, but no, it just stayed up in the air for an extended period of time and then dumped itself back into the net. So, like I said before the second intermission, RedHawks needed to get one on that power play.
Carjuelo now will turn it over, though, for Devine. Sends it across, back in front. They score.
Wow.
It barely took any time, just 18 seconds, and Carter King will put it in the back of the net as Denver answers, and it's now 5-1.
15th goal of the season for Carter King, and yeah, like you said, didn't take any time at all for the Pioneers to get that one back. It was a fluky one on the RedHawks end, and he thought maybe that'd be able to build some momentum, create something a little bit more interesting in the offensive zone other than point shots. You need to get some more high danger chances. Ambrosio's in the slot. It ends up going in for him, but then, you know, play breaks down and some good passing by the Pioneers, and Carter King's on the right end of it.
Face-off win by the Pioneers. King from Thompson and Devine. And the time of the goal, 1:28 as the puck goes into the offensive zone. Thompson with 2 points here tonight. Those number 100 and 101 on his career. As Denver once again restores the lead to 4.
Devine also with a 2-point night.
Goal and an assist for Jack Devine. Morrison will take it and shovel it into the offensive zone for Miami as the RedHawks go for some changes. For Carter King, he was also coming in on 99 points. And so he's got his 100-point mark as a Pioneer here tonight as well.
Devine moves over a point per game for his career now with that assist as well. So big night for all the accolades for the Pioneers.
And it helps that those guys have a couple national titles to their name as
right.
well. 2022, 2024 national champs under David Carr. Down the left wing, a shot ripped in off the rush by Jake Fisher, easily handled by Ethan Dahlmeyer, who snaps it up. Denver National Champs in 2017. That was when Jim Montgomery was the bench boss, who sent a couple stops in the NHL. Montgomery departed for initially the Dallas Stars. It was David Carl who stepped in to fill that void. Saw Carl this afternoon working out at the Miami Rec Center.
Oh, really interesting.
In between the morning skate and probably some meetings, I'm sure.
Couple World Junior Championships to his name. Couple national championships.
Nasson heads down the left wing into the offensive zone, and will give it up left point for Dylan Moulton, who shoves it back in deep. It almost bounced back in front, but Davis sticks it aside. He's a guy that was in some circles in the offseason for potentially taking an NHL job. The Chicklets guys actually asked him about it when he was interviewed in the offseason. He said when he feels like the time is right, when he feels like the opportunity is right, he probably will make the jump, but doesn't know when that might be.
This is a young head coach too, so obviously plenty of time to keep doing this job. And
certainly,
yeah, someone's going to pick him up, and the team is going to be really thankful for it. This Denver team has done really well internationally as well. The USA World Junior team under him had a couple big years.
Emmons with a steal out in the high slot. He flings that one high and wide.
Obviously plenty of talent on those teams as well, but you know, the system that he plays, the kind of players that he looks for, there's a reason that he's won so much.
Wraparound try there from Blake Messenberg, and that got stuffed with the left pad of Matt Davis as Denver will break it out of the zone. He's a guy that graduated college less than 15 years ago, if you can believe that. Carl was a standout for the Pioneers in his own right, graduated in 2012. He actually was going to play professionally, but had his playing career cut short due to some medical conditions, and that's when he got into coaching. He is the brother of Matt Carl, who's a longtime NHLer.
Yep.
Those two natives of Anchorage, Alaska.
Seawolves, who we saw earlier this year.
Earlier this year, Miami swept Anchorage. Those were two of the 3 wins for the RedHawks this season. With the puck in the offensive zone at the left point, it is sent in by Buckberger. Wrapping around the wall to the near side, Christoph Filion holds, gets time and space, and cannot clear as he throws it across out of the reach of Michael Quinn. Jabbed in deep by Salmonen. Quinn tries to throw it through center. That's tipped up into the seats.
Couple deflections in the
hit off a seat, hit off the outside of the glass, and somebody caught it down there on the edge of the student section. 14:46 remaining third period. It's 5-1 Pioneers. Moulton sauces it across for Colby Ambrosio. Now to the near wing, it's Theodore Forsander into the offensive zone. Slid one in front that did not find any RedHawks and ended up on the far wall. Denver cannot clear. And a pass up the right seam for Forsander went through his legs. Now Moulton will fire one across, and that just flutters through the slot again to the far wall. Denver up ice now, and into the offensive zone goes Sam Harris, the leading goal scorer for this Denver team. Draft pick of the Montreal Canadiens. Fights through a puck battle, forces it up the wall where Reeder pulls it away from 2 RedHawks who didn't know where it was. Those in Ambrosio and Waldron. Got a shot on net, but an easy save for Dahlmeyer, and now Ambrosio will skate it forward and toss it in as Miami finishes up the change. 13:50 to go, third period. 5-1, the Denver lead, outshooting Miami 29-18. Dahlmeyer comes out of his net to a puck that was sliding on, and it was poked, almost went through his legs as Hagen Burrows almost got a gift of a goal, and Dahlmeyer's looked very shaky handling the puck tonight. Miami's given up 1 goal because of it. They've nearly given up a couple more.
Yeah, and as much as this game probably could be 5-2 or 5-3, it could also be 6-1 or 7-1 considering how Dahlmeyer's played the puck tonight, which, you know, he was shaky earlier this year, but then he appeared to get more comfortable, but tonight has been just not comfortable at all.
Puck slides to the far side and into space. It is chipped ahead by Ashcroft. would guess that we're not going to see Dahlmeyer tomorrow night, not just specifically because of the puck handling issues as Miami slides one through center. It goes through everybody and will go down for icing. But again, Anthony Noreen said it a few weeks ago. He's going to keep rotating his goalies until somebody steals a game, and it does not appear that the RedHawks will steal one here tonight.
You know, if there's one goalie on that bench that has experience doing that against his Pioneers team, it's Bruno Braveris. Whether he starts tomorrow or not is the real question. Brett Miller's been getting a look from the Miami coaching staff as well. He's been getting an extended look, I should say. He's played a fair few games. But Bruno Braveris, last time out, made some huge saves, arguably the save of the year when this Miami team traveled to Denver earlier this year.
Yeah, RedHawks suffered a sweep, but it was a strong weekend for Braveris, one of his best of the year.
Yep.
Brett Miller listed as third on the line chart tonight, but has started 4 games, as you mentioned, Jeff, with most of his appearances coming in the new year. Into the offensive zone, Theodore Forsander gets his stick lifted. Puck stolen away by the Pioneers. Down the right wing, Rieger Lorenz gets spun off the puck by Connor Hutchison. And now Forsander gets clapped along the near wall by Wright. 2-on-2 though for the RedHawks as Waldron stops his feet. Tried to slide for Forsander. It went right back to him. Waldron's cross ice pass, meanwhile, got tipped out of the zone, and the RedHawks will regroup. 12 minutes to go in the third. Moulton heading forward. We'll wrap it back in deep. And below the goal line, Denver will try to clear and turn it over up high, but now Moulton gives it away. It's a 2-on-1 for the Pioneers, and King shoots it off the right pad of Ethan Dahlmeyer. He had Aiden Thompson with him, elected to shoot it himself in a 2-on-0, and Dahlmeyer makes the save. Puck back in the neutral zone. Thompson racing after it, poked away from him by Simonovic. Devine, though, will get to it and fire in. 11:20 to go, third period, 4-goal Pioneer lead. Looking to get back in the win column after falling on Saturday night last week. Ryquist with a backhand in front, looking for Nasson on the back door. And that was broken up. Simonovic makes his way through center, enters the zone, hands off Emmons, chipping it back down low. Simonovic tried to backhand it back for Emmons on the point, and it will slide past him and all the way down the ice. Ethan Dahlmeyer tried to play it to Ryquist, who got taken off the puck, but Denver cannot spin it in front. Instead, the Pioneers will have to chase the puck all the way back to their own end, where a long pass is threaded forward by Cale Ashcroft. Tipped into the Miami zone. Morrison turns it over in the high slot. Reeder wraps it behind the net. Salmonen tried to throw it behind his back in front. It's sent back to him. Now it's Sam Harris spinning in the near corner. Muscled off the puck there by Morrison. Denver keeps it alive, though, as the zone is held on the left point by Ashcroft. Back deep in the offensive zone. Denver tried to play it out in front. Miami shoves it against the wall once more. Up to the left point, Pittner will force it back in. Morrison couldn't glove it down cleanly. Pioneers take it back. Circling the zone. Reeder looking for some help. Finds Pittner right point. Sent a shot through that took a tip on the right side as Harris was right against that right post, but it did not end up on net, and Miami will clear.
Yeah, tired bodies on the ice. RedHawks fortunate to get out of that one without giving up a goal.
9:40 to go, third period. Burrows kicks it to his skate. And now to his stick. Now RedHawks take it away. It's wrapped around the far side of the ice for Spencer Cox, who will lift it back out to neutral ice. Cox tries to lay a hit on Burrows, but he had already dumped the puck. So the RedHawks will have to chase it down in their own end. Moulton, diagonal feet across, missed Cox by 10 feet. Denver with it now, and the Pioneers will softly regroup in their own end. Brown with a giveaway, though, and Nasson with speed down the right side shoots one that trickles just wide of Matt Davis. Capone now grabs it. He will bank it off the wall to himself in front of the Pioneer bench, and Capone will fire it in. Saucer pass misses Johnny Waldron on the far side. Casper Nasson chasing after it and forecheck for the RedHawks, but Denver transitions it up the ice quickly. Rieger Lorenz into the offensive zone. Tacked against the wall by Hampus Ryquist, and the puck back to neutral ice. Denver, though, works it back in, and now it's right-handing for Lorenz with a one-timer from the right dot. And a save made with the right shoulder by Ethan Dahlmeyer, and that will take us to a timeout. 8:32 to go, third period. Denver 5, Miami 1, our scores. They'll jump around at Cady Arena, and you're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. $8:32 remaining, third period. It is Denver 5 and Miami 1. Luke West, Poley, Jeff Middleton back with you. RedHawks had that goal, and then as fast as they scored it, gave up another one 18 seconds later as Carter King scored to answer, and Miami's back to square one, where they spent now the last 10 minutes since that King goal. It's a 4-goal lead for the Pioneers. Face-off in Denver's offensive zone, near side of the ice. Capone wins it for Denver, but now Miami will take control, and Hutchison will knock it off the near glass and down the ice. Denver will grab it and thread through center, but no Pioneers in sight. It will go down for icing with 8:18 to go in the third. Still a 5-1 Pioneer lead. 6:05 start coming up tomorrow night. Pre-game coverage at 5:35 here on Red Hawk Radio, following our women's basketball coverage starting at 12:30. 1 o'clock tip tomorrow afternoon between the RedHawks and the Buffalo Bulls. And basketball coming your way in just about 20 minutes time.
That's right.
Very exciting stuff. Game nationally televised on CBS Sports Network, as Miami will take on Kent State. When that game was selected for national TV, Miami was on quite a roll. However, since then, the RedHawks have come back down to earth a little bit. They've lost their last 2 games against Eastern and Western Michigan.
On the road as well, worth mentioning at the very least.
Yeah, Miami has been very good at Millett Hall this year. RedHawks have only lost 1 game at Millett all season. It was to Wright State, the home opener.
I'll say their first one.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's always funny how that works.
College basketball, as it's dumped into the offensive zone by Denver, as you'll often hear, is probably the sport where home field advantage, home court advantage, home ice advantage, whatever it may be, probably matters the most. Nassen was a step offside there as Ryquist was making his way forward. And so we'll get a neutralized draw with 7:28 to go. But when you look at the numbers of how teams fare at home versus on the road, college basketball is by far the hardest American sport to win in on the road. So take with that what you will. Face-off win by the Pioneers. And they'll push it through center ice. Additionally, it's going to be baseball season here soon. We'll get started on Red Hawk Radio with Miami Baseball's home opener on Tuesday. We'll have every home game here on Red Hawk Radio, as we typically do.
Exciting.
Very exciting. Red Hawks taking on the Wright State Raiders on Tuesday, and then they'll have Northern Kentucky in town for a weekend series. Hit laid in the defensive zone allows the RedHawks to take control. 6:52 to go in the third period. It's 5-1 Denver. Miami sends a tip puck into the offensive zone. Raymond's Vitalin's on it on the far side wall. Puck lifted up in the air by Denver, but Brown could not initially clear. He'll have to wait for it to land before he can push it out. Fillion delays for a moment at the line. Bring it back in. Pioneers thought they had an offside. Instead, they'll just take it and now head in on the rush. Carter King off for Jack Devine. Back down low, it's Thompson near corner offensive zone. Puck is picked off his stick by Vitalins and ends up at center, where the Pioneers will bounce it back in. Around to the far side it goes for King in the offensive zone. 6:02 to go third period. Denver leading 5-1. Cox and King locked up in the far corner. King shoves one off for Devine, bottom of the left circle, but it's poked away from him. And now Vitalins can safely skate it out to center ice and throw it down. Like he might have been short of the red line there, but the officials will give him the benefit of the doubt and waive the icing. The extra skater tonight, Alec Whipple, heads right and dumps it into the offensive zone for Denver. Freshman appearing in just his 4th game of his career.
I'll say his shifts have been few and far between tonight.
Yeah, I really have not seen him much. Up in the air it goes, and Sullivan chokes up on the stick and whacks it in out of the air to the offensive zone. Both teams just kind of trading dump-ins right now. Not much going on out there. Ryquist bounces it behind the Miami net. Up the wall, it's sent by Simonovic, so now Miami with some speed. Ambrosio hands off for Waldron. Back for Ambrosio in the far corner, who was trying to drive the net, but the puck popped over his stick. Now he gives to an unsuspecting Waldron, and the puck gets by him. Denver, though, did not have numbers forward, and so the Pioneers will just dump and change with 4:38 to go. Ambrosio steps by his man at center, finds Forsander near side. Back for Ambrosio on the half wall. He will sweep it in deep below the goal line. Pioneers, though, recover it and chip it out to center. 4:20 to go in the third period. 5-1 Denver. Looking to pick up NCHC win number 11 and send Miami a game shy of losing their first 20 in conference. RedHawks bank it up the near wall and out of the zone, and there was a lot of contact in front. Dylan Moulton was down. Looks like we have a penalty away from the puck here that will go against Hagen Burrows, and that'll be his 2nd penalty of the night, and that'll bring us to immediate timeout. 4:03 to go, third period. All Pioneers up 5-1. We'll have to finish when we come back. You're listening to Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio. .403 remaining third period. Miami will go to the power play. RedHawks are 1 for 3, I should say, tonight. This being their 4th try, down 5-1. Teams have traded goals here in the third. Back-to-back weekends with a power play goal for Miami, which is a good sight to see. Denver controls the face-off. And the Pioneers will send it down and now break up the ice for Salmonen, but Waldron recovers back on him and prevents a breakaway, poking it off the stick of the junior Finn. Ambrosio diagonally ahead for Morrison, will skate it into the offensive zone. Penalty is to Hagen Burrows for cross-checking, which, as mentioned before, the timeout was away from the puck. Quinn walks the line, back to the near side for Waldron. Across the ice now for Quinn.
Samu Salmonen is a big dude. Listed as 6'2", 205 at New Jersey Devils draft pick, but man, he looks bigger than that. Really good body for penalty killing here.
Skated right by Casper Nasson, and the two looked about the same size a moment ago. Shot from the center point is blocker to side off the stick of Michael Quinn. Denver will get to the loose puck, skated forward a few steps by James Reeder, and he'll clear the rest of the way down. Yeah, Nasson 6'4", 199. So those two relatively similar in stature. That 199 might be a little generous on the low side, I would say, for Nasson. 2:40 to go in the game, 37 seconds left in the penalty to Burrows. Far half wall, it is Vitalins for Miami. Back up top, Moulton. Rather, that's Cox on the far side for the RedHawks. Just waiting around at the half wall. Moulton center point, wrists one through traffic. That is gobbled up by Jake Fisher, running the top of that penalty kill diamond as he'll block it and clear down. Christoph Filion catches a stretch pass ahead, step inside the blue and tried to fire, but it was poked away at the last moment, and the puck ends up pinned along the near wall. Now it springs free, and the Pios clear it as Burrows is out of the box. And Denver successfully kills a penalty for the third time tonight. Minute 54 to go in the third. 5-1 Denver as Pioneers have it in the offensive zone. Puck is just jammed right now in the far corner. There's a Pioneer that is on top of it. That looks to be Rieger Lorenz. RedHawks dig it free and will move it up the ice. Filion chipped into the offensive zone. Emmons pins his man, but Lorenz comes in as a reinforcement and pulls the puck free. Across the red line, Brown loses possession. Simonovic's backing it into the Miami end. Lead pass ahead, tipped into the offensive zone by Shapani with 1:10 to play. Simonovic's on the left point. Shoves it in deep around the wall. Ambrosio threads between two defenders. Out in front, he was looking for Messenberg, but he passed it on the wrong side of his body, and it gets by him and heads down the ice. 50 seconds to go in the third, as number 6 Denver is going to pick up their 11th win on the season. It's been an up and down year for this Pioneers team, but somehow still a top 10 season just because of how good they've been in the non-conference. And they'll have a chance for the sweep tomorrow.
Just seem to find a way.
Always. Forsander up ahead for Hutchison. Filion taps it behind him for Ambrosio, who tried to dangle his way to the net front.
I don't know why he didn't just try and go around him. He had that leverage on the far side, and he tried to make a nice play through. I mean, not a bad idea, but...
There's a penalty coming up on the Pioneers, but the RedHawks are just holding it. They're going to throw it against the end wall of their own zone and just let it go to run the rest of the timeout. So a bit of an anticlimactic final 30 seconds of the game. And that's just kind of how the last 10 minutes of this one were played. Pretty lazily, it seemed, as both teams just kind of wanted this one to be over. 5-1 is your final. Denver takes down Miami here on night one of the series. And again, Jeff, it just feels like for the RedHawks, they continue to start with strong effort after strong effort. But if you put in a good effort and still somehow don't throw the first punch, that's going to make things awfully difficult and happen again for Miami.
Yeah, 100%. And we talked about, you just said it, you get an early power play, you create momentum, but you can't put the puck in the back of the net. And then immediately after, Ethan Dahlmeyer makes a mistake, gives it right away to Jake Fisher, and he scores, and then from there it was all Pioneers. Miami had some spurts, of course, but if you're not able to put the puck in the back of the net early enough, then it's just not going to happen. And getting a goal from Colby Ambrosio is always nice. He probably deserved one tonight. I thought he was really good, but again, you're just not able to get multiple past Matt Davis, and it's frustrating. And people look at the 0-20. Almost, it could be 0-20 after tomorrow night, but 0-19 as of now, conference record. And obviously, you got to win games. Everybody wants to win games, and losing this many in a row is about as embarrassing as it can get. But again, you come and watch them, and it doesn't look like they have lost 19 conference games in a row. It just that they play well for a certain period of time, but then when they're playing well, they're not able to convert. And then, as Coach Anthony Norina said multiple times when we were at post-game press conferences, it doesn't take much for these teams to score. Just one break or one shot, and the game can change. And Miami just has to get to that level.
So 5-1 is your final here on Friday night. RedHawks took a beating similar to this last Friday night, put together a pretty good effort on Saturday, came oh so close to a win. We'll see if they can get that win here tomorrow night. 6 o'clock start, 6:05 start to our coverage, I should say. 6:35 is the puck drop. No, 6:05 is the time. Sorry, with the time change. 6:05 puck drop, 5:35 is your pregame time. And make sure to head over on our channel for Miami men's basketball, who will take on Kent State momentarily. Tip-off in that game coming up in about 15 minutes. Brian Miller and Addison Lenhart will have the call of that game from across town at Millett Hall. Jeff and I will be jetting over there as well to enjoy the night as Travis Steele and his team hit the hardwood for a crucial MAC game against Kent State. Again, we'll be back tomorrow, 5:35 pregame, 6:05 puck drop, early start because of some basketball shufflings here this weekend. Make sure to tune in here on Red Hawk Radio. That's all from Cady Arena tonight. Denver beats Miami 5-1 in game one of the series. For Jeff Middleton, Luke Lewis, my name is Luke West Poley. So long from Oxford. Thanks for tuning in to this presentation of Miami Hockey on Red Hawk Radio.